This episode of The Gaming Outsider is brought to you by eWin Racing, the home of the best heavy-duty gaming chairs. I can tell you from personal experience that I've never sat in a more comfortable chair at my desk. eWin Racing has chairs for gamers of all sizes, too. As a Gaming Outsider listener, you can get 20% off your purchase using our promo code TGO at ewinracing.com. eWin Racing, the best gaming chairs out there.
Howdy, friends. This is Owen Thomas, and I play Twisted Fate in League of Legends, and you're listening to The Gaming Outsider. Only 2 jokers in the deck, and I get dealt you.
Well, hello there, fellow Go listeners. On this week's episode, we're answering questions from you, the community, including several questions from my own 4th grade students. In news, BlizzCon was this past week, which includes some pretty big announcements. Zack is here to talk about his time with Silent Hill Ascension, and Alyssa checked out a game called Archetype Arcadia. We'll also finally get to hear Zack's impressions of Alan Wake 2. This is The Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com. It is Sunday, November 5th. Remember it. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friends, Mr. Zack Parkerson.
Well, what if I told you the government was responsible for the greatest tragedy in our nation's history?
I would ask you what a tragedy is.
Shut up. I was trying to. I was flying for a V for Vendetta quote.
It was cute.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate it. Also, you heard her already, but Alyssa White, how are you doing?
It was a tough week, but being around 3 handsome guys making it a lot better.
But Chris is here too. He's
Yes.
thinking of. How you
Yeah,
doing,
I was
man?
I said
tall.
3.
Ooh,
Who's the third besides him?
That's a tall order. I will remove that statement.
Oh, you don't want me to call you that? Okay.
Ooh,
It's
no.
stricken from the
It's not
record.
that. I know what I look like.
So do we.
Anyway, it has been a week, guys. Remember how I was all like, the convention is done, the 40th birthday party for my wife is done and over with.
Uh-huh.
I am just going to play games all the time. That is getting increasingly more and more difficult to do. I did
I thought
finish
you
a
were going
game
to say
this week.
no.
I did, but things got to get done, man. Still got to do some stuff around the house. So but I did get some gaming in yesterday. This week, I'm going to come home and just game at night. I'm not
You're
doing
lying.
anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to try, man.
It's crazy how you just lie to us every week.
Dude, and I get the whole week off for Thanksgiving this year because they don't give us Veterans Day or Indigenous Persons Day. They take all those and they just jam them into Thanksgiving. So we get the whole week instead of just Thursday and Friday or whatever, which I appreciate. But man, I really miss those random Monday holidays off because those were great times where I could just sit and just game all day and have nothing to do. But I can see stuff already stacking up week of Thanksgiving. But those
Just
first
tell
3
your wife
days,
no.
man, those first 3 days. Well, one of them's my fault. I do a movie marathon with some buddies on Black Friday instead of going shopping.
What is it this year?
Actually, for those that haven't listened as long and know what I'm talking about, we usually do like a series. Like 1 year we did all the Harry Potter movies, 1 year we did all the Fast and Furious movies, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and this year we decided instead of doing a series, we decided to do an actor. We're gonna each bring to the table like 2 or 3 movies from an actor. I think we've landed on Tom Hanks. We're gonna just watch Tom
Okay.
Hanks movies all day long. So,
Solid choice.
yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. It'll be a good time. So. But, it's been a crazy week. I'm trying to get back in. The thing is I've been so busy for so long, I'm almost worried to sit down and relax because I know as soon as I do, I'm going to get sick. Have you ever been in that position where
No.
you just go, and then you finally take a breath and sit down and then you get sick? That happens to me all the time. So I'm really worried about that happening.
It's
But
got to be
anyway,
mental. It's got to be right. His body's turning
Self-fulfilling
against him.
prophecy.
I mean,
Yeah.
I get autistic burnout doing that.
yeah.
So it's not really sick. It's just me. Mental stuff. Mental
Right.
stuff.
Well, Zack, you have been gone. You weren't here last week. We missed you very much, but I am eager to talk to you about the games that you've been playing this week. At least we've been catching up on, because you were not here to talk about Alan Wake 2 last week. And we've been kind of going back and forth a little bit on text, but I wanted to kind of save it for the show. But you've got something else you've been playing before that. What have you been catching up on?
Oh, well, I did. Yeah, I beat Spider-Man 2, got the Platinum Trophy.
Nice.
Very easy Platinum. I would assume everybody's should get the Platinum. It's just so, I don't know. It was just shockingly easy.
every podcast I listened to, there's like, yeah, I beat Spider-Man 2, got the platinum.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, okay.
I really do think it's part of the marketing strategy.
It's got to be after the last one. I mean, the last one was a little time consuming, but not super time consuming.
Yeah, it was also incredibly doable.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas Miles Morales, at least I think you had to beat New Game Plus to get the platinum, so it was a little trickier, I suppose.
I hate it having to play a game twice
I
to get
know.
all the platinums. I don't like that.
But no, it was a very satisfying platinum. The game plays very well. I do think the story, it just kind of falls apart in the third act, I would say.
I've heard that as well. Like
Yeah.
the first two are really great, and then it just whatever.
Yeah, a lot of excellent build up, and then the character you're waiting for comes and goes. It's quite disappointing.
That's a bummer.
But
It is a
it's, it's still a good game. It's just nowhere. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as one or Miles Morales, because the gameplay is better in nearly every way. I think the stealth is a little weaker personally, because of the simplified gadgets in this game. You can't really use them in stealth the same way, so you have a lot less options in stealth actually. But at least you can complete hideouts without forcing the combat waves, so that's nice. But anyway, yeah, great game.
Is there going to be a third one? I mean, that's kind of probably a stupid question, but
Well, yeah, there's still his biggest foe to go.
okay.
I pretty much. I think I have an idea.
It's
Yeah.
Green Goblin. I'm not.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
As I said, they've already done his other two, right? Dr. Octopus and Venom.
Mm-hmm.
You've only got the biggest one left to go.
Think it'll be a trilogy, or do you think they'll, or is there going to be another spin-off like Miles Morales?
An interstitial.
Spider-Man
Oh, is that what it's
2099.
No, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised they do a Miles Morales 2, I guess. There's a little bit of a end credits thing that I think would work for a standalone game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they should do, like a Maximum Carnage game. You remember that old Genesis classic?
Dude,
Spider-Man and Venom have to team up to fight Carnage. Let's do that.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Right. And that's not a spoiler. That's just a hope and a dream, just so everybody's aware.
Honestly,
Gotcha.
I would love to see them redo. God, what was the time jump one?
Edge of
Shattered.
Time?
Was it Edge of Time?
Well,
or
Shattered
Shattered
Dimensions
Dimensions.
That was where the 4 different
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Give me that again. That game
Sure.
was great.
Yeah, that was that's the coolest use of Kraven.
I will
Very
agree.
cool. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting back into it someday. It's
Yeah,
kind
me
of
too.
moved down the line a little bit with
Well,
some other things.
Well, I see Alyssa and CB say they've been playing Spider-Man 2 as well.
Yeah,
I've barely been playing it though because of the other game that I'm much more obsessed with.
how much progress have you made?
In Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I'm only about 4 hours in.
Okay, you're further than I am.
Yeah, I booted up for the first time today, and I got about 5 hours done.
Yeah, he's already crushing you guys.
I know.
I was looking at the trophies for Spider-Man 2, and over 50% of people have already beaten it. That's an insane. I don't see that completion stat that high in games that have been out for years.
Right.
People love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's a little easy,
Yeah.
like compared to the first one. Like the combat, it feels good with this combat system, but yeah, it definitely feels like this game is flying past.
Yeah, I think that's what this franchise is, right? It's just very accessible. It wants you to finish it.
Yeah.
And that's good, I think that's what they're going for. So mission accomplished.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Oh, we got to move on. I've been waiting so long to talk to you about Alan Wake 2 because you've been dropping some hints via text about your feelings about Alan Wake, about the game. So tell us your experience because you've finished it, correct?
Yes, I did beat it. Got the platinum on that as well.
Good Lord, I'm so jealous of you guys.
It is also not a difficult platinum. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really just find the collectibles.
Yeah.
And if I don't know how far you are, but in Saga's story, she's got these kind of somewhat open areas, but they're not very
Mhm.
large. So it's not a lot of work, is what I'm saying.
And you can go back, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much anytime you want to.
Yeah, it does the video game classic. No, before we go off and do this, it really feels like things are coming to an end. So if you have anything you need to take care of, this is probably the time to do it.
And you just save your game in there and then go back.
Yeah, I was
later.
just saying that old video game chestnut.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alan Wake 2, I think the only thing I said last week was, because my little editor's note was, it was worth the wait. This
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
is excellent. Yeah, I like it a lot. I love the decision to start as Saga. and you kind of have to earn before you see the title character, if you know what
Yes.
I mean.
Yeah.
I think that's a really great way to do it. I love the slow nature of the story. I think is wonderful. I assume it's not going to be for everybody, but based on the internet's reaction, it seems like it is for everybody. So that I stand corrected. But yeah, I like the very slow pacing. I think the option to change between Saga and Alan that was announced before it came out or whatever, like you would get to decide when to do it, was a little felt like an like a paralysis of choice at first, but then like you kind of get it because their playstyles are actually quite different. So they're good pace breakers in that way. Because Alan, this is not this is the premise of the game, but Alan is trapped in the dark place, so anything can go there, and it's just some wacky, wild stuff.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not super far. I'm probably about 5-6 hours into it or so. But the way that you go, I'm again dancing here, but the way that you go back and forth between Saga and Alan, there's a certain character. Have we seen that character before in another franchise? Not in Alan Wake, but
if it's the one I think you're talking about, yeah.
Okay.
He seems to be a central figure in the Remedy connected universe.
Okay, that's what I thought. So it's been a minute since I played the other Remedy game I'm thinking about. But
Is it sad that I have a feeling I know who you're talking about?
Why can't you just say Control? Why can't you just say that? That's the only other game in the universe.
Quantum Break.
I thought Max Payne was supposed to be.
They've confirmed Quantum Break is not part of the universe. Nor is Max Payne, though both are represented in legally distinct ways.
Okay.
Max Payne perhaps more aggressively, since your partner is.
But also the way that you do go back and forth between the two characters feels very object of power kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That it reminded me of Control in more ways than one, and I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more connections. But I gotta ask Alyssa, because I know Zack obviously has beat the game. I don't want to say what it is, but have you hit that moment yet? If you haven't, if you have, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm 10.5 hours in, but I'm still like, which moment?
Or are you switching back and forth between Saga and Alan, or are you just focusing?
I'm just letting the game do it.
So you mostly been playing a Saga, then, or
mostly played a Saga. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, because the game doesn't do it for you. You have to. Choose to switch.
Yeah, there's a point where you're forced to switch.
I mean, I was just doing that when it was forcing me to.
It won't do that again.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, it's up to you.
Okay, so
okie dokie. I need to switch at some point then.
I feel like if you had seen this moment, you would want to talk about it.
Okay, I need to switch.
I'm intrigued on her perspective, because there are some like plot twists and stuff that if you're routinely going between the characters, like you'll put it together before either of them do, because you have more clues than either of them do.
Okay,
so it's an interesting way to tell a story, because you can kind of like I often felt like I was ahead of the story because of the way I was playing. Because the way I was playing, I always kept Alan a chapter ahead of Saga, basically.
Interesting.
And it felt like I was getting clues for either story from the other. It was kind of fun. It was kind of like you're helping. The puzzle is only going to be completed one way, but I was choosing when to put the pieces there.
Okay, I'll definitely switch the next time I have the opportunity to.
I think it's kind of the theme, isn't it, of switching and writing the story in whatever way you feel is best, which is kind of clever. So. I will say, I am liking the Saga portion of the story way more than the Alan part of the story in terms
Honestly,
of gameplay.
I do too.
Same.
I get annoyed with the stuff you do in the dark place.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
So I mean, I like the dark place, especially because it looks like a Max Payne game, and you encounter things. There are a lot of references to Max Payne. There are even like hotel rooms you go into where I'm like, yes, I remember this from Max Payne.
There's also indirect references to Max Payne.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more direct ones than there are indirect.
Well, yeah.
The references are so direct from like, oh, this is why you're remaking Max Payne 1 and 2. So like, this is like if we remake Max Payne for Rockstar, they won't sue us, right?
Right.
That's what it feels like. But no, the dark place, For me, it's just so when you're playing a Saga, right? You have those really cool case board where you put where you're Charlie
Mhm.
Day in putting the string up on the wall.
I love that you get your hands out while you do
Yeah,
that.
because it's just appropriate. And I think that's really fun and clever, and you can't do it incorrectly or whatever, but it is like there's like a fun little kind of game where I don't want her to be like, no, that's not right, because then I feel stupid.
Yeah, me
But
too.
when I'm playing as Alan, his is different. He's got a plot board where he can restructure the story in the dark place.
Right.
But I find that significantly less satisfying
Hmm.
because there's only one. Because the idea of changing the plot, right, sounds cool, but there's only one answer for each room.
Correct.
Yeah.
And while that there is only one answer, right, in Saga's mind place, like I was saying, but it feels different as Alan because he's this writer and he's got this power, and it almost feels like it feels set up to think you could do different things because you can use the different plot devices in each room or whatever, each scene.
Right.
But really, you can only use one.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a collectible if you
Yeah.
pick a different one, but that's it. And honestly, I think that Alan's collectibles suck anyway, because they're always just those words of power to increase his like flashlight or whatever.
Words of health.
Yes.
Words of
Yeah.
Words of
Words of
stuff.
weapon.
That's my favorite one. Words of stuff.
yeah.
But I do like playing as Alan. Don't get me wrong, and I love his narration. Can't go
Yes,
wrong
I
with
do
that.
as well. And I think the thing that I love the most about this game, and I'm shocked at how well it works, is the inclusion of, boy, I don't know if this is considered a spoiler or not, Zach, you tell me, but the inclusion of an interesting type of media.
Are you just live action?
Yeah, is that like a thing in the?
No, it's just like so much of this is just
Yeah.
in the first trailer that I'm surprised you're so like touchy.
Well, I stayed away from the trailers because I
I
just
did
knew
too,
I wanted to
but-
play it. So
But it is also Remedy. They're going to have live action.
okay,
Yeah.
so there are moments where you're watching a live, it's not CG. You're watching a live action scene, and then all of a sudden you're controlling Alan, and you can tell that it's different, but it's like really, really close, right?
Yeah, the graphics are insane.
It's just I just love those moments too. I mean, and
Well, this
I-
this is easily their best implementation of the live action stuff.
yes,
agree, yeah.
agree.
The way they do it, I don't want to give it away, but it is narratively justified in a way I did not expect.
Yeah,
And it's very clever. It's all shot very well. It's kind of shot in a way that feels weird, if it makes sense. Like it doesn't feel like a movie. It almost feels like they're shooting it feels like they're shooting a stage play with cameras.
I was just gonna say stage
Yeah.
play. Yeah,
and it feels very intentional. You know what I mean? And it just gives
Uh-huh.
it gives it its own feel.
I adore the commercials with the two brothers.
The Cascella brothers.
Yes, Costco
Oh,
Brothers. Yeah, dude.
Man, whenever I come across a TV and I see one of those, I stop and I actually watch the
Oh,
entire
I do too.
Because I just think they're so funny. The one brother, yeah, you go buy that coffee.
Right, well,
It's just-
they're just so funny. One guy screaming, he's like, "We're gonna chop the competition in half. We're slashing prices left and right. Isn't that right, brother?" He's like, "Yes, absolutely. Everything is on sale in the store." It's so good.
and then when you meet them, he's like, "Well, yeah, my brother's here." Just like turns into a spirit animal in front of the camera or something like that. I can't remember what phrase he used, but I was like, "It's so good."
But yeah, I'm just there for the Costco Brothers standout character. A lot of fun characters in
Mhm.
this game. Just wait until if you guys seen the signs for Mayor Setter,
Yes,
governor
Yes.
for mayor. Let me
Mhm.
tell you, quite a character when you meet him.
I met him once, but he just had a couple things to say about his campaign, and
Yeah,
I really like.
I think you might have met his aide.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
African American gentleman.
Yeah, I don't remember meeting his aide. I just remember meeting him and his.
Oh, okay.
Is delightful. And then but there are a lot of mysteries. The Warland Door character is very interesting to me. The talk show host guy.
Yeah, the door,
Yeah.
Mr. Door,
Mr. Door, yeah.
who at first glance I thought for a minute it was not Lance Reddick, but I thought I knew him like the guy from something else. But the two characters at the trailer park, I just encountered those guys.
Oh yeah, a little yeah. Oh, dude,
Man,
that
they're-
reminds me. If you're a fan of the first Alan Wake, the returning characters are all
Yeah.
used expertly, I would say,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
none of them feel sacred. which is surprising. Like there are returning characters that might be bad guys, they might be allies, or sometimes they're nuts, or it's very cool.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you, Zach, because Alyssa and I were talking about this last week. I don't know if you listened to the episode, but
I did.
You know how
you guys said Alan Wake 1 had auto aim, and I was like, what the hell are you guys talking about? I remember that.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you guys. Well, that's you asked if Alan Wake 1 had auto aim, and Alyssa said, yeah, it did.
I thought it did.
It did not. It does not.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have a standard aiming reticle because the flashlight is your aiming reticle. So I could see how you would misremember it as having auto aim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, the question I had to do was with profiling. Like, is there an explanation for Saga's profiling of characters, like where she kind of goes into the mind place?
Yes.
And we don't really know if it's something supernatural going on or if she's just Sherlock Holmesing her way through stuff.
Right. They get into it later. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I was.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to get into the explanation because I'm at the chapter you told me was jump scare heavy.
Oh yeah. Old gods. Ooh yeah.
Yeah.
That's Saga.
A lot of singing going on.
That's my favorite Saga chapter. But
just wait, Alyssa.
I mean, the highlight of the game is Alan's 4th chapter, though.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to switch when I get the chance to.
Alyssa, I want you to text me immediately after you finish that chapter, and don't think you're done until you say end of. I don't even think they say chapter; they say end of
part.
area, end of part. Yeah.
Okay.
Because just trust me. I want you to message me as soon as you get through that section. Because I just sat and stared at the screen and was like, I think Alan's reaction at the end of that level is perfectly sums up my feelings about what happens in that chapter.
Yeah, I will say some negatives though. I do think the gunplay is just fine, which might not stand out in any other kind of game. It's just everything else here is so excellent that it I guess stands out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And also just because Remedy gunplay is usually top of the class.
Well, I mean, after Control
or Quantum Break isn't a hell of a shooter. I mean,
yeah.
even the first Alan Wake was endlessly fun.
Yeah,
but it's just I understand they're going for a different kind of game here. It was just I just felt like it was worth pointing out.
Yeah,
I also had frame rate issues a lot playing a Saga.
I've noticed several glitches, mostly playing a Saga.
Yeah, so
I had issues where the dialogue wouldn't match up with the animation.
Yeah, I've had that issue.
Yeah, it's not as buggy as say Spider-Man 2, which crashed on me 4 or 5 times. But it was notable. I also think I don't want to no spoilers, but I don't think the ending satisfies all of your questions.
That's frustrating,
and part of that is no doubt on purpose because it's a connected universe now. But I think there are too many questions that aren't answered for it to be satisfying.
That's all right. We'll get another answer in another 13 years, right?
Right. Yeah, there's a little. Yeah, they must have really. What an interesting choice! Finally, get to make a sequel 13 years later, and then you don't answer all your questions.
Yeah,
but
not even the questions from the first game.
There are some questions. Yeah, there are some questions. The first game, I would say, are unanswered still. Yes.
That's frustrating.
But I just want to say, like, I don't mind mysteries or abstract endings. Typically, it's just there are so many spinning plates left spinning. I feel by the end of the game. And I got the platinum. I got all the collectibles. So
it's like watching Lost.
It is a little Lost-ish, except Lost had a guarantee of the next season next year.
True.
And they at least explained the polar bears very early on, even if not some people like Scott Clark can't remember.
Don't get me started.
But all in all, an absolutely great game. It's so unique. I've never played anything quite like it, and it blends all of these medias, like live action, gameplay, narration, writing with the manuscripts, or photography plays a role. Like all the artistic mediums meet here in Alan Wake 2, and it's pretty noteworthy.
There's even a little like Senua's Saga with a perspective thing, just a little bit, with the eclipse.
Oh yeah, we had the match.
Oh yeah,
the echoes.
The echoes. That's right. So you can hear more of James McCaffrey's excellent narration.
Yes.
Tell you what, this game got me pretty excited for the Max Payne remakes.
I was gonna say
that's still their high bar.
Also, speaking of, we talked about this a little bit too. I didn't realize that Max Payne was voiced by a different voice actor, like you just mentioned. Like it's the same face in this game, but that's not what's his name, Sam Lake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not Sam Lake's voice.
Well,
It's
but it never was.
No, I know, but I've
Okay.
never heard. I don't watch the interviews and stuff as much as you do. So when you actually see this character, oh man, I don't like playing it with Sam Lake's voice. It threw me off.
Oh,
Like-
I see. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
but there's not a lot of that voice though.
No, I know, but like
Oh, okay.
I've just correlated. I've correlated Max Payne's voice with that face.
Oh, okay, I understand.
For
Which-
so long.
Which is funny because for me, it had been so long since we've seen Max's face look like that.
Mhm.
So like, it was weird for me seeing Sam Lake's finished face with these deep, American growls.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some crazy stuff going on just in those scenes with the TV studio and
Yeah.
man, just some great storytelling in those moments. I want more of that.
I mean, it is a hell of a ride.
Uh-huh.
It's just the final destination's not that exciting,
Oh, that's so frustrating, man.
But the journey is so much more than worth it.
All right, I can't. That's all I want to be playing right now.
Me too.
I think I was giving Zach a countdown throughout the week of how much I had left in the game I was finishing up before that. I could get to it.
Yeah, Mario Wonder. Yeah, dude. You should absolutely barrel through Alan Wake 2. I'm very excited for the New Game Plus because apparently they're adding new story elements when they add New Game Plus.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I don't know. You might remember there are some doors that you can't open in Alan
Yeah.
Wake 2 that I assume in New Game Plus you will be opening them.
I haven't found bolt cutters yet. That's
Oh yeah.
frustrating.
I think I'm getting to where I can get the bolt cutters.
Here, I'll
I
give
think-
you guys a pro tip. Once you get the bolt cutters, you can explore everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So you can round up your collectibles then.
Nice.
Mm.
Well, CB, the quiet one back there.
Yeah.
What else you been catching up on, man?
Still, well, other than Spider-Man 2, I've put Starfield on the back burner for a bit just because I want to get some other things out of the way. 'cause-
What?
Dude, here's the thing: like Starfield is big, Real-
Well, yeah.
real big.
Yeah.
Just beat it, man. Just go beat it.
No, I don't want to.
He wants to savor it.
I have thousands of planets to explore. Scott.
Did you hear there's like one guy that like did everything you possibly could do in that game already?
Oh, so he doesn't have a job?
Yeah, clearly.
But see, at that point, like Starfield is something that I've wanted for so long, so I'm just like savoring it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Savoring it. 300 hours in, he's starting to savor it, guys.
But I've been playing some more Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh my god, I got to play that. Sorry,
Dude, I am enjoying the hell out of this game.
It's a good game.
It is surprisingly good.
And I feel like it's just going to get swept under the rug with everything else that's
I
come
know.
out.
I need to get back to it.
The story is just, it's great. And I'm just enjoying like running around Baghdad, just doing my thing.
Gorgeous, by the way.
Oh my God, Zach, you really need to play Mirage. I forgot there's something that's in that game that
Oh my god, is it the Dagger of Time?
no,
Nice.
but feathers,
Okay.
I haven't seen Feathers yet.
feathers and conversations.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
And I'm just like the moment you get to do that for the first time.
Oh, what a return to form.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, I immediately thought of you
Oh,
because like he just does the whole thing, and then all of a sudden it goes into that like Animus side load.
yeah. The memory corridor.
Like, because I definitely did not kill this person this way,
I love
and
that. I love the total illogical nature of the memory corridors, where you could like crossbow bolt a guy from across the room, but then Ezio's talking to him
oh yeah,
and
Or-
he's cradling him in his arms. Awesome. Makes no sense.
So I immediately saw that, and I thought of you, and I'm like, because the more I play this game, like I know it's a short game, but it really does feel like a return to 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The more I play, like I haven't hit any of that the like the glitchy stuff that
Mhm.
we've talked about. But it also seems like there is somewhat of an explanation for why that's happening.
Oh, okay.
Mostly because I played all the way through Valhalla, so I know kind of what that is.
Yeah, you're
I wonder-
at an advantage in that way.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to go YouTube the ending of Valhalla because
Yeah, I'll have to do that as well.
Yeah,
I don't have 120 hours to spare.
Well, somebody.
Oh, come
somebody,
on, Scott. It's only 80.
80. Sorry.
Well, somebody was just like, "Wasn't this character this?" And I'm like, "No, like that's not the case. There's something else going on there that you had to unlock by doing this." And
What a fun way to tell a story.
it's very. I'm trying to beat around the bush for those who haven't played all the way through Valhalla.
I can't imagine there's certainly not over 50%, right? Like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
doubt.
can't imagine what, like 7% of people maybe beat Valhalla.
but the more I play this, I'm like, I want this style of Assassin's Creed game to be back. Like, I want this to be moving forward.
I don't understand why they can't do both.
Yeah,
Like have an A team and a B team, like
Yeah.
Call of Duty does.
Right, like every 4
Like
years.
1
you
year
get
yeah.
it was like every 4 years you got a big one, but then the 2 years in between each of those, you just have the little guy.
dude. I would love that.
Mhm.
So, but yes, Zach, you really need to play this because it's going to give you that. It'll scratch that like early like 1 and 2 nostalgia. Outside of not having present day stuff.
Which I haven't seen at all.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't sound like it's really in it, right?
Not
No.
that I've found.
I mean, there's got to be at some point. There's got to be something at the end.
Well, I don't know because it was originally Valhalla DLC, so I feel like it doesn't necessarily. They might not have made it with that in mind.
Yeah,
true.
especially with the scene that I'm thinking of in Valhalla. Like, I don't think we're really gonna see much
Oh,
present day stuff anymore.
that's a shame. Now I'm really curious. Now I feel like I really have
Yeah.
to go watch that ending.
yeah. It. We'll talk off air. I will
Okay.
explain.
All right. As for me, I did finish up Super Mario Brothers Wonder this week. If you have not played this game and you like Mario games, I feel like this is a must play. It is just charming and delightful in every sense of the word. It's shocking to me how clever they have gotten with this series, because after Super Mario Maker was a thing, and I kind of felt like, well, I guess that's it for 2D Mario games. You guys, I mean, they're all made, right? You can just make whatever you want to at this point. Maybe get some new power-ups and stuff, but they just keep expanding with this. The little wonder flowers that you get, they do something completely different in each world, and some of them are absolutely adorable. Just completely adorable. You've got piranha plants that come out of their pipes and start singing to you in harmony, and while you're going through the level, and it's just absolutely delightful.
That sounds cute.
It's really cute. I will say the game is one of the easier 2D Mario games I've played in a while, but I think that's okay because we've got all the hard Mario games that we need with Mario Maker. I mean,
How could it possibly be? It has to be harder than the new Super Mario Brothers games, right?
No.
Yeah.
I really don't think so.
Because those games I felt like were for babies.
I couldn't
Well-
play it, so I'm a baby.
Well, I feel like these, much like probably the other ones, were designed with co-op in mind. They wanted to be able to make it manageable if you're going through with 2 to 4 people. So nothing ever feels like really super difficult for people that grew up with the games anyway. But again, I don't care. It's just such a delight to go through and play it. I don't know if the replayability will be there as much as like Super Mario Brothers 3 and Super Mario World. Back in the day, like those games are still fun to go back to, but it is just great. And the final boss is really clever too. Spoiler alert: it's Bowser.
Oh my god! You can't just say
Oh
that
my
on there,
gosh,
dude.
spoiler!
Oh, come on, it could have been Bowsette.
It could have been Eggman. Wouldn't that be switch for the ages?
Oh man, it's just a delightful game. And then if you really do want the difficulty, there's a whole hidden world that is nothing but 5-star difficulty levels. I have not played through that yet. I just wanted to roll credits so I could get to Alan Wake 2, but I will go back and try those. I tried the first one, and it's tough. it's really, really tough. So there is still a challenge there if you want it, but you don't have to play those difficult ones in order to beat the game, which is kind of nice. So Super Mario Brothers Wonder, great game. It's going to be on my list. I feel. I don't know how it couldn't be on my list by the end of this year, but
that's no surprise.
Yeah, it's really good. All right, that's the games we've been catching up on. Let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. Few news stories to chat about this week. First off, Microsoft was reportedly taking away the employee benefit of free access to Game Pass, but we did get an update on that story. I'm sure we'll talk about that. BlizzCon was this week, which means there's multiple announcements to discuss. The industry layoffs continue. This time, Bungie is involved. And lastly, a canceled Daredevil game has leaked on the internet. Okay, it was a prototype, but still it kind of was a cool news story. CB, you've been gone the longest. Why don't you... I'm sorry, you were here last week. Zach, you've been gone the longest.
No, CB. No, I want CB to pick now. You
all right,
you tease the guy. Let him pick.
All right, CB, which story do you want to talk about?
Well, I guess we'll talk about good guy Phil Spencer.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
Let's beat the allegations that we're an Xbox fan.
I know.
I
know, right? I did this story
going.
to finally be like, oh, hey, we can talk about something where we're not talking positively about Microsoft for once.
So
and then they self-corrected.
Yep. Yeah. So Microsoft was reportedly taking away the employee benefit of free access to Game Pass. When this story originally broke, Xbox employees were going to be losing Game Pass because they didn't have to pay for it. Employees were notified that this was going to start in January of 2024. At the end of the original article, Phil Spencer responded that he was not aware of this situation, was looking into it. Well, lo and behold, our other Lord and Savior, other than Sir Todd Howard, decided to reverse this decision and give it back.
Wait, this was Todd Howard's decision?
No. I said
no.
Our other Lord and Savior, Sir Phil Spencer.
He was just saying we worship God Howard in this house. That's what he was saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
But who fills out the Holy Trinity then?
Reggie.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
of course.
He's on Xbox.
But no, the Holy Trinity. Like you gotta bring somebody in from the outside.
Yeah.
So who's covering Sony then?
No one.
Way to make us not a Sony hating podcast here, man.
I don't hate. I've been playing Spider-Man 2. You shut your dirty mouth.
We got a review saying that we do nothing but bash Sony. By the way, did I tell you that?
Oh,
well, they should stop.
Oh, that was a long time ago, though, wasn't it? Or was it more recent?
It was a while ago. Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Had my PlayStation 1 on day one, way back in the day. I've owned every iteration.
Yeah, me too.
And just stop screwing up, Sony, and I won't crap on you.
So I wonder why this was a decision. Like they can't.
There was
imagined that was going to be a good idea in terms of
there was
positive PR.
Probably some dumb person in HR was like, I bet we could save a few bucks by doing this. And Phil Spencer was like, you shut your dirty mouth and you go away too.
Well, they were already notified.
Yeah. Well, it's also, you're not going to save any money, right? Because it's your system. Yeah. It's not costing you money to just give free codes to your people.
No, it would potentially earn you more money because then those people now have to purchase that service, pay for that service. Plus, how many? I mean, you got to know there's a lot of Microsoft employees that probably aren't gamers, right?
So therefore, it's not costing you anything then,
right?
Yeah.
But I wonder if those people were like passing along that.
Yeah, I was gonna say giving it to friends and family.
Oh my God, this is like how you can't give old pastries to homeless people at Starbucks,
right?
You know, even though it hurts nobody.
Right.
I know.
It gets even worse. Like the fact you should see how much produce that grocery stores throw away on the daily.
Yeah, it's
disturbing.
Let's not even get started with like insulin.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But this is stuff that is just going to the trash anyway. Why can't you just give it to somebody?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, insulin does. Okay.
Well, I mean, insulin does have a shelf life.
Oh, I didn't know this. Okay.
Yep. But yeah, it really does make me wonder though. Do like Nintendo employees or Sony employees get their version of their subscriptions for free?
Well, as we're about to learn, Sony's in serious financial trouble. Apparently, they're nickel and diamond everywhere. So, you know, they probably can't afford to be giving out these passes that cost them nothing.
that just blows my mind because I'm willing to bet Nintendo is just like, oh, you work for us, have a Switch. Like I feel like
that'd be a nice
that'd be
perk,
cool,
yeah.
but I feel like that Nintendo is that kind of company.
Well, I also feel like they want their employees talking positively about their products.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that all three would probably want that too. You know, that's probably why they do those kinds of things. You know, I know some companies. I had a friend that used to work at another video game company that they had like access to a company store where they were given a certain number of credits that they could use to purchase, game codes or
I
things
think
like
I know
that
the
from
same friend that
store.
we're talking about.
Yeah, probably. So I mean, maybe something like that exists at Sony or Microsoft. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it just brings an interesting question to my mind. Like, when you do work for these companies, like, what are said perks? Because I remember reading in like Jason Schreier's book,
Mm-hmm.
or like when John Romero's company, like Ion Storm, like all the crazy things that they got, and then the people that worked for Kurt Schilling's company, like all the crazy stuff that they got.
Right.
So I'm always curious to see, like, on that side of the fence, like what perks are you getting for busting your ass for these companies?
Right. I'll let you know when I get hired by Microsoft someday.
Well, I mean, if you ever put in your application.
Yeah. Minor details. Minor details. All right. Well, I was gonna start things off with Zack picking a story, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask Alyssa instead.
Oh.
Alyssa, what story would you like to talk about?
Well, I mean, if Zach wants to go ahead, he can go ahead.
You guys
Oh,
stop
God.
being so nice.
No, Alyssa, go. You got to listen to the man here.
Oh, okay.
So Scott
I'll-
Clark in the Gaming Outsider.
That's right. He's our Alan Wake. He's writing the story. We're all just living in it.
That's true. Guess we'll talk about the canceled Daredevil game that has leaked, which
All
it was
right.
canceled in 2004, not long from completion. It was posted by a game preservation community called The Hidden Palace, who said it was sent to them by an anonymous developer who worked on the title. It was a third-person beat-em-up game, and it was developed by 5,000 Feet Studios for PS2, the original Xbox, and PC, published by Encore Inc. The story was based on the Elektra Lives Again comic, and it was canceled because of disagreements between Sony and Marvel.
I don't ever
Yeah.
remember this game.
I don't either.
Even hearing about it.
I do. But that's about all I remember. I mean, I remember it existing.
Also, could you imagine a Daredevil game being anything but a third-person beat-em-up game?
Well, you couldn't be first person, yeah.
Yeah,
No. It could.
I mean, technically you could. It would
could.
just
A black screen and noises.
Right. You
Well,
have to press a button to whack your stick on a wall so you can see, like...
I felt kind of guilty laughing at that story, man. But
yeah,
it is.
no.
Well, there was that game that came out when...
Perception,
Yeah.
where you had to use your cane to light up the room.
Unfinished Swan was that a blind? No. What's the game called that you were talking about?
It was a
Perception.
game called Perception. You play as a blind
Perception.
woman, and to see where you were, you had to tap your cane, but then that would also attract the enemies. So you had to be strategic when you wanted to see what you were, where you were in the game.
But it's a beat 'em up.
It was a little
That would be-
frustrating, to be honest.
That would be terrible as a beat 'em up. Dude. Oh, look, they're over there. Start fighting. Oh, yeah, they moved over there.
Anyway, I thought this was interesting. Zach, can you tell us anything about the Elektra Lives Again comic? Was that a cool story?
I don't want to give it away, but it's in the title.
I assumed.
I mean, of course it's a good storyline. It does remind me of remember the Punisher game that came out around that time as well.
Yeah.
Like there was an era where they did just adapt the comics instead of having to do their own universe.
Mhm.
Even like Arkham Asylum was just it just took place in the comics. And they would later make a universe from that or whatever. But that was a fun era because you
Right.
didn't always have to see oh boy, what's their Rhino origin gonna be? It was just oh yeah, Daredevil and Bullseye probably fought each other 600 times. This is just another one of their meetings. I don't know. I kind of miss that era for that reason. But the game looks neat. It looks exactly like that era of licensed video game. You know, a little bit of janky camera.
I was gonna say it's been a while
Yeah.
since I've looked at the PS2 game. I was like, man, remember how good we thought the PS2 looked?
Dude, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no doubt this game would have come out, but like, I don't know if graphics can get better than this guy.
Yeah, I know, right?
No.
I will never forget walking into Media Play and seeing a PlayStation 2 playing Madden, whichever Madden it was, and I was like, oh my god, the players blink. And I was like, this is just the most amazing thing ever. It's never gonna get better than this.
They used to highlight stuff like that, like at E3, or there's like a
Yeah.
360 basketball game. They're like, and you could see the sweat pools over the course of the game. And I'm like, who
Oh.
cares?
I remember in the 360 era when they're like, you can see the individual blades of grass. And I'm like, oh,
No,
cool.
dude.
All 13 of them.
Dude, I don't know. That was pretty cool on
It
the original
was.
Halo, man. When you could look down and just see grass. I mean, it was flat.
Well, no,
It
I
doesn't
meant
look like
Madden. When Madden
Oh.
first introduced like grass physics,
Mhm.
people went nuts.
No, yeah. But no, I think the game looks funny. You know, it was almost done, so it's nice that a developer finally just said F it and put it out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wonder if this will actually like see a playable light of day.
I mean,
Well, I mean, it's playable right now. You just have to download it.
Well, but there are companies that are going through and like making physical discs and putting them out now.
This one feels a little risky.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
Disney of it all.
mhm.
But shout out to you guys who want good coverage. My boy Diego Rivera on YouTube. He's looking into this game pretty deeply now, so check out his stuff for more information.
Nice. Zach, what story do you want to talk about?
Well, speaking of PlayStation, over at Bungie, there are over 100 employees fired. I don't say layoff. Layoff's just a corporate word for fire to
Mhm.
make
Yeah.
themselves feel better. Bungie, they wrote, we know we have lost a lot of your trust. Destiny is a surprise and delight. We haven't done this enough, and that's going to change. Destiny has not been doing very well. The revenue is down 45% compared to their expectations. Well, it makes me wonder what were their expectations. Because I remember Square Enix used to have some pretty insane expectations as well. For
Tomb Raider?
Exclusively for the Western studios. But more importantly, their player retention has dropped off dramatically since Lightfall expansion, which I guess just makes sense to me. I've heard from my Destiny friends that the story was pretty boring in that one, and that was the one that was supposed to be setting up your finale, so that's the wrong time to be boring.
Mhm.
And then so then they and no one's apparently very small pre-order numbers on the final expansion, the final shape. I'm not surprised. I just feel like Destiny, like there's no way to get into Destiny anymore. They've
Mhm.
cut off the ability for new players you can't play the entry storyline of Destiny 2 anymore. So if you're making your old fans angry, you have no potential of bringing in new ones, then of course nobody's playing your game.
Not only that, but at what point are companies going to realize that games don't have legs anymore? You've missed your window of opportunity for games to last as long as there's just simply too many options out there. And I understand that part of this is me speaking for myself because I don't stick with games as long as a lot of people do.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? But there's so many other options out there, even online multiplayer shooters or Fortnite, what battle royale type games. Like there's just so much out there. I can't keep up with the games that I want to play, much less stick to a game that came out. How long ago was Destiny 2? That's got to be 4 years now, right?
Been a while.
Oh, longer than that, right? 20.
Wasn't it on PS4?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
Destiny 2 was Xbox
the first
One.
Destiny, the first Destiny was 2013, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was Destiny 2 2016.
Holy cow! So we're looking at 8 years, and they're
right?
having
2017. Sorry, 2017.
still 6 years, and they're like, well, we're just not making the money off this game we thought we were going to. Come on, dude! It's been 6 years. Like,
Well, it's also just like they're prepping up for their Avengers Endgame moment, right? But imagine if you were getting to Avengers Endgame and you told everybody they're not allowed to watch Phase 1 or 2 anymore.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that's what they did with Destiny 2. Because people love to be a part of a moment, especially a part of an ending. We've seen that time and time again, right? The ending of any like Lord of the Rings trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Return of the King makes more money than the other two. But you've cut off the ability to get people excited and into your game now.
And
Exactly.
So the only thing you're doing is annoying the fans you have, refusing to accept new fans for some reason. And then the people who probably keep your game alive in between story drops, this PvP community, I know has been outraged for years at Destiny 2 because they haven't added anything.
I enjoyed my time with Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. My biggest problem is it's that just the horrendous grind for that one extra damage.
Right. For some reason that does seem to appeal to people in games.
Yeah,
I don't understand it myself.
They're the people that love doing it. For me, I'm just like, okay. And then the new expansion comes out, and you have the people that will sit there and grind. They're a little bit stronger. But I'm just like, there's so many other things that I'd rather play.
Exactly. I love the grind in Diablo 3, right? Back when that was my every Friday night thing to play with somebody online, and I had a dedicated person to play that with every single week. You know what I mean? But now I've got so many other things that I'd rather be playing and trying to keep up.
Not a good year to release an expansion nobody cared about.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just, but more than that, 100 people fired. I mean, it's not even. They fired Michael Salvatore, the co-composer of the Halo franchise.
Holy cow!
That feels like a mistake.
They fired their lead artist, the woman who designed all of their box arts, got fired.
I had a friend that was laid off there, so
who's safe?
That's what I'm saying, dude. If you were still at Bungie, if you somehow survived this culling, I would immediately be looking for another job. Because if people that have been there for 20 years aren't safe, I know I'm not.
Right.
How many people work for Bungie?
This is temporarily about 1,000 people. Because this is about 10% of their staff.
So you're basically hacking off a lot of the
more
upper,
expensive salary, I imagine.
Yeah, the
right?
upper tier.
Yeah.
But is this leading towards maybe a fold-in of property?
What if Pete Parsons, the CEO, just took a small pay cut? Could have saved a bunch of jobs. And they are
Nintendo?
Right, yeah, who do I think they are? Competent and worthwhile leaders. And then also Pete Parsons had a leaked email where he said they made sure to keep the right people.
Ooh,
what the hell is wrong with you?
Wording is terrible.
Unbelievable. Imagine your friend just got fired and your boss just told you that was the wrong person anyway.
Yeah.
But here's the morale's got to be bottomed out over there.
The people that. But here's the thing: the people that did your box art, your music. Luckily, those people will probably find a job fairly easily, especially somebody with the musical chops to do Halo.
I hope so. I mean, Michael Salvatore would have been just a couple years from retirement. The dude's like 65.
Look at John Williams. Dude's still going strong.
No, you're right. Yeah.
So, because music composition is different, because those are the people that truly love to do this. They don't want to retire. They want to keep making more music. So somebody like that is going to land a job somewhere. And with those chops, I have a feeling there's a large green backed company that will be like, we will gladly take you back.
Well, 343 could use the goddamn help.
Also, and I'm going to say something, but I don't want to make it sound like I am justifying this. It's not at all what I'm doing.
Here we go.
No.
Corporate Clark.
That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying that, we hear this kind of news and it is awful. When anybody loses their job, it's awful. But I'm just giving you an example of situations where it's not always a sad ending. Things do work out for a lot of people. And I understand this doesn't happen to everybody, but I know of somebody that was with one of these bigger companies, and I don't even feel like I have to worry about masking who it is because there's been so many of them. It doesn't matter. But I know of somebody, friend of a friend, that was like a lead AI designer for one of these companies. He got laid off. Company got shut down. He has since gotten a new job at NVIDIA that increased his salary by 30%. He's still got his 3-month severance. And he's like, man, this is going to sound insensitive, but his words, not mine, were, man, I wish I could get laid off more often because he's just in such a much better place. Again, I understand that is not what happens to everybody. But I'm just trying to put some positive spin on it anyway.
Well, sure, I'm sure a lot of these people could find jobs in industries that aren't video games and probably make more money.
Right.
And I mean, I really hope things turn around because clearly something's going on. But
Oh,
it
yeah.
does make me worry when Sony's not exactly like it just feels like something's being hidden here.
It is beginning to paint a picture that something is wrong with PlayStation, right? Their CEO
Yes.
is retiring. Connie Booth, their almost 30-year head of product development, the woman who greenlit, Uncharted, Last of Us, infamous Ghost of Tsushima, every franchise you care about, she got fired. And in this company that you just bought, your live service experts who can't even hit their financial targets in the live service industry, just had to fire 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
That's not what is going on over there.
as much as everybody likes to think that I like to crap on Sony, I crap on Sony when they make stupid decisions. I don't want the company to go under in any way, shape, or form. I want them to thrive and prosper. But this honestly worries me.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird that these were your experts you bought.
Yes. Well, I thought it was a stupid decision when they bought him in the first place.
Well, I thought they grossly overpaid. But
yes.
Yeah.
Think about all those people that had the vested stocks that are now worthless.
Yeah.
Because you had to stay there for years to get your money, and now they fired you, so you can't get your money. And they also fired you 2 days before the end of the month, so one of your first 3 months is already gone. It's pretty despicable. That makes me sick to my that really made me weak in my stomach. It's just disgusting. Yeah, and obviously also ultimately it doesn't matter because PlayStation's still selling the most hardware every quarter.
Well, yeah.
So no matter what's going wrong, it doesn't seem like it matters for them.
Yeah. Do you think that new PlayStation 5 is not going to sell out everywhere and anywhere?
The Pro or the Slim or whatever.
Yeah, the Slim or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all that's going to be
Did
left.
we talk about that last week? When did you guys talk about that?
How ugly it is? It looks like a pregnant Wi-Fi router.
Well, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
The fact that it used instead of the matte, the gloss. Ugh.
I didn't think they could make it uglier. I was wrong.
Oh, dude, it looks so bad.
It's unbelievable. Again, it also doesn't matter. It plays my games, whatever. But that is an ugly, hideous piece of machinery.
It may play your games, but you still have to see it.
I kind of want to put a skirt over to my entertainment center. I don't want to see this hideous thing.
Don't do that. And trap all that heat in there.
Yeah. Well, maybe it'll melt into a cooler shape.
Ooh.
But yeah, this is despicable. Of course, it's also the video game industry, so none of this matters. No one is gonna not play Marathon. No one is gonna hold Bungie accountable in the future. Nothing will ever happen. This 2023 is the biggest, most profitable year in video game history. They've also fired over 6,000 jobs this year.
Mm-hmm.
Make it make sense. That doesn't make any sense anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I have a feeling we'll be talking about it again more later on in the episode, if you catch my drift.
I'm not the world's biggest believer in unions, but you gotta unionize.
Mm-hmm.
Young unions, I think, are successful. It's just, after a union exists for long enough, it becomes corrupt like everything else. That's my feelings. Anyway.
Well, you guys didn't leave me with much, and I'm not saying this isn't big news. I'm just saying that I can't speak on it much because I've never played World of Warcraft. But BlizzCon had some announcements this week, including expansions for Diablo 4, but 3 new expansions for World of Warcraft called the Wonder Soul Saga. The first one, called The War Within, will release in 2024, and then 2 more expansions are going to be called Midnight and The Last Titan. CB, I know you were a big World of Warcraft guy, but the look on your face makes me feel like you were not going to be diving back into World of Warcraft.
Dude, this is really starting to feel very EverQuest to me. Where they're like, look at us, we're on our 27th expansion.
I don't know, man. People are playing it, right?
There's been some fall off on the player base.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, of course, yeah.
But I wanted to go into, at one point in time, I did want to go back to World of Warcraft Classic, but they're like, now we're adding Cataclysm. I'm like, okay, so you're taking apart World of Warcraft Classic already.
That is what I thought too, right? That was a big shifting point. What are they doing over
there? That was like, we're going to completely change the entire landscape of the game with Cataclysm. And I'm like, so we're doing it again.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have World of Warcraft Classic rebooted.
I really don't understand it.
Ugh. I just the more I read these, the more I'm just like, I don't want to go back ever.
Yeah. I'm glad I never got into it. I'm so
Yeah,
scared
me
to
too.
death of MMOs. Anyway, Overwatch 2 is getting a new hero, a Samoan called Maui. I'm sorry,
Maui?
Mauga. That was-
You're
that
welcome.
was- yeah. Hearthstone's getting an expansion called Showdown in the Badlands. I figure if there's any way to get Zack into Hearthstone, it's give it a Western theme.
It ain't.
Oh.
It
No.
ain't a Western theme, bud.
It's not Western?
No.
Oh, clickbait title. Jeez.
Showdown of the showdown. That just means a fight between two people.
I could have swore I saw a video and it looked very like the main character's wearing what looks like a cowboy hat.
Boy.
Oh, I have to look into it.
Zach's like, I need it.
I'm just
I
like,
can't. I don't
it's
know anything about this.
Hearthstone, which is based off like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they can't slap something on it, man.
There ain't much Western in World of Warcraft. I'll tell you that right now. So I don't know. I'll look into it. I will report back to you on that one.
They say it takes place in Azeroth's version of the Wild West.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that
So I
just
guess
sounds
the-
like vomit.
That just sounds like you didn't read the article.
I had
Oh boy.
it's World of Warcraft related. I'm sorry, I'm probably not going to read it.
Oh, that's a good excuse, man.
But I did see Badlands.
I know enough
which
about it already.
I'm familiar with the Badlands in the game, so
Hold
You know,
on.
Hearthstone is now my favorite Xbox mobile game.
ugh.
Also, Diablo is getting a tabletop RPG, which I thought was interesting. I think there's something else about Diablo. They're getting a new character. You're a Diablo guy, aren't you, CB?
I have not had time to play 4 with the flurry of games that have come out this
No,
year.
I understand
They-
that, but there's a new class.
Right. For them
Coming.
to be a total original, which is cool.
Yeah, totally original class, and then the new expansion, Vessel of Hatred, is taking place in the Diablo 2 region of Nahantu, which I assumed you would know what that is.
Dude, this game would be so much more interesting if it wasn't Battle Pass to death.
Yeah,
God, why do they do that?
and then
Man,
we're also learning the fate of Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Oh no. Agatha all along.
I don't know. I don't know what any of that means because I didn't play Diablo 2, but anyway,
The best.
I can't really.
Whoa! Back that train up there, son. You did not play Diablo 2, but you played 3.
Correct.
I don't
Diablo
think
3 was
there's-
my
I
first
did the
Diablo.
same thing.
Yeah,
CB.
that's not. I don't think that's uncommon.
God, Diablo 2 was like one of the best.
Yeah, it's pretty great, but let's play that, guys. You guys want to play Diablo 2?
Dude, I'm down.
I'm down.
Let's
I
add
got
it. Let's add it to the list of games we say we'll play and never do.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yep.
You get a job that doesn't make you work at third shift, and then we can all play games together.
Yeah, play Diablo 2.
Yeah.
I would love it if we chose to play Diablo 2 over Diablo 4. That would be delightful.
I have it. We could totally do it.
Dude, I'd
Alright.
so be down to play more Diablo 2. I love to.
I feel like I would have to learn it because from what I've heard, that game is a lot more complex in its building structure than 3 and 4 was. So I feel like I would have to really learn what I'm doing. And I automatically know with you two, I'm not going to get to play as a necromancer.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
We could both be necromancers.
I know that's not as fun.
I'll be the assassin lady. She's cool and half dressed.
That's like a prerequisite for Zach.
Oh,
Did she wear armor that would not help at all?
That's
then I'm
not
definitely in.
true, but it is true of Diablo.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on. Before we do, I want to remind everybody about our Patreon, where you can help pay for the show by contributions to our Patreon page. And we do have some bonus episodes available for you. Speaking of, we have our third Peace of Mind episode. Zach, you missed out on this one. I sat down with Alyssa and CB, and we talked about whatever came to mind. Talked about weird things we ate as kids. We got to hear CB complain about being underpaid. And then Alyssa asked us if we believed in ghosts. So you may want to check out that episode. Also, hopefully by the time you hear this episode, you will have available to you our trade-off episode with Kevin and I. He made me play Streets of Rage in this game called Marvel Land, which you're going to want to hear me talk about it because I have a lot of things to say about that game. And I also made him play Sunset Riders and DuckTales, like the original DuckTales. And I'm hoping to record that with him tomorrow. So it should be available this week. And then we got some other things planned in the future as well. So stay tuned.
So if you like Scott being negative, an all too rare occurrence, you're going to want to listen to that trade-off episode.
I'm very frustrated with that game. But anyway, patreon.com/thegocast. We do appreciate everybody that is currently contributing. And we would love it if you decided to help out the show as well. With that, let's go ahead and jump into the new games that we've been playing. All right, Zach, what's new on the list that I can avoid this week?
Well, you don't have to avoid it for too long because in about 4 hours, you could be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, coming out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC November 10th. Yu Suzuki, the man behind Shenmue, returns to the on-rail shooter genre with Air Twister, coming to all consoles and PC November 10th. UFO Robot Grandizer, The Feast of the Wolves, should be appealing to weebs everywhere as you battle, giant monsters as a giant mech. PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC November 14th. PC shooter Boiling Point, A Road to Hell, comes to PC November 14th. That one's historically relevant because I think it was the first FPS open world game since being re-released. Broken Road comes to Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC November 14th. I can't wait. Unbelievably. Hogwarts Legacy allegedly coming to the Switch November 14th.
That scares the crap out of me because I have a feeling that's just going to be atrocious.
I'm looking forward to the N64 graphics on this bad boy. and the 5-minute load times to get in and out of the castle.
Everything warping out of existence as it tries to load.
I feel like it'll probably run. It'll just look like crap. But also, like, Hogwarts Legacy, it's like, was it the best-selling or one of the best-selling games of the year already? But coming out on Switch right before Christmas, this game's going to destroy, dude. There's going to be a lot of disappointed grandkids out there.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. Some of those spell animations, or they're like, twist and, like, unattach your Joy-Cons and do the thing.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Now I'm in. But I was going to say, also, kids' favorite games now are like Roblox, Fortnite, and Minecraft. They obviously don't care about graphics.
Yeah, but
that's true.
Some of those spell animations, I have a feeling, are just going to...
The particle effects are going to look, they're not going to be as exciting.
It's going to be bad.
A game that will probably look better than Hogwarts on Switch, Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion, comes remastered form to all consoles and PC November 14th. I'm very excited about this release. Because I don't think a lot of people played Turok 3.
I did.
That's good. Just came out so late in the N64 era. Voxel heist game Teardown comes to PS5 and Xbox Series consoles November 15th. 2D action platformer The Last Faith comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and Switch PC November 15th. The Kindman Remedy comes to PC November 16th. Jagged Alliance 3 comes off of PC and onto PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, and Xbox One November 16th. Assassin's Creed CB coming to VR with Assassin's Creed Nexus.
I know.
I think a Quest exclusive for now, coming out on November 16th. I mean, doing the little flick of the wrist to pop out the hidden blade sounds like a good time. And then Flashback 2, long-awaited sequel, coming to all consoles and PC November 16th. CB, is it Assassin's Creed for you this week?
Oh, without it. Did you watch this trailer?
It looked pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, the fact that I can dive off buildings and haystacks.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about all the nauseous people.
Oh,
I was gonna say, just watching the trailer was like, I was like, motion sickness.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of unfortunate incidents with this game.
I want to know if you can miss.
Hit the pavement. I guess to be fully immersed, right? Because it's hard to miss in the console games because it kind of auto leads you to the hay bale.
Yeah,
but it would be fun if in the VR you actually had to aim yourself more appropriately.
Oh, just
pretty funny.
Like the parkour in this just seems like a blast.
I do think the idea of parkouring around, like Italy or whatever in VR, and sounds amazing.
And I know it's possible after playing games like The Climb. So I'm really curious to see how they implement this.
There's a lot of broken coffee tables out there.
Broken coffee tables, broken wrists, broken TVs, everything's breaking.
Partners beware if the headset is on when Assassin's Creed is playing.
Somebody's going to get
whacked.
accidentally just checked in the mouth.
Yes, someone's going to get hidden bladed for real. It's going to be awesome. What about you, Scott?
Turok 3. But I'm going to be waiting for a sale just because I still have Turok 2 that I only played the first level. So that's on my list of games I want to get to sometime when I get caught up. I don't know.
So next year.
What about you, Alyssa?
None of these are really tickling my fancy, so I'm just going to stick with the games I'm playing currently.
Understood. Yeah, I hate to be the mainstream guy, but Modern Warfare 3, I like the campaign of the first two. I've heard this one is crap, but I still want to rent it and play through it. Those campaigns are fun.
Where you rent it from?
Gamefly still around?
Yeah.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Dude, what a steal! Better than paying.
What is the controversy with this game? Because a lot of people are complaining, saying that it's, the campaign is so short and that it's more or less an expansion to Modern Warfare 2 than a brand new game.
Well, I mean, even the trophy list is listed as an expansion on PS5. So it's not too subtle that it was. I mean, that was the rumor, was that it was an expansion that they recombobulated into a full release, and I would say that the trophy listing is pretty much proof of that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's the shortest campaign of Call of Duty, which is surprising because they're all pretty short. And from word of some people that have played it, because you get early access if you pay the premium version or whatever, is that not only is it short, but that a lot of the cutscenes are like slideshowy, or like it feels like a expansion to a multiplayer game.
Oh wow, that's unfortunate.
So it's supposed to be pretty bad. And then there's like the action set piece moments just aren't there like they are in Call of Duty. Apparently, like opens with one and then that's about it. That's very weird for Call of Duty.
I really want Call of Duty to go back to making phenomenal storytelling. Like,
how could they mess up Modern Warfare 3 twice?
They don't like the number 3.
But I mean, CB, you're right. Yeah, where like they did, or Black Ops 2, right? That was crazy.
Well, the original Modern Warfare 1.
Yeah.
Like, that was such a stellar story.
I remember getting a pit in my stomach playing parts of that game because, we hadn't seen that kind of stuff in a game up to that point.
Yeah, or the risks they took, like the no Russian moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first Modern Warfare reboot was also good for that stuff. Like, you had to torture a dude's wife in front of him to get, information or whatever. Like, there were definitely some gnarly moments as well. But yeah, I don't know why they forced these out so quickly.
Because they'll sell.
Well, they focus so much more on multiplayer that I'm like, just spin them off. Make a third company and just, you only do first player, like single player campaigns. You do multiplayer and you do zombies. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I
wish.
I like the dumb, fun campaigns of Call of Duty.
So do I.
And it doesn't sound like this is going to be one, but I still want to check it out for myself. Because I thought the first Modern Warfare reboots were very good campaigns.
I agree.
Yeah.
I liked them both quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. All right, Zach, I want to hear about Silent Hill Ascension because I really do not understand what this thing is. We got the announcement last week, and the premiere was supposed to be on Halloween. Is it a game? Is it a show? What is Silent Hill Ascension?
Guys, finally, after all these years, Silent Hill is back. This is the big debut of the franchise. It's coming back, finally returning after all these years. And it's just what we all wanted for a Silent Hill game, a TV show you watch.
That's literally all it is.
So it's basically, it's an app you download on your phone, and then you log into it. You make an avatar, and I'll explain why in a minute, because I was very confused at first. But it's a machinima, like Red versus Blue. Like, it just uses video game graphics to tell a story. And then you just watch it, and the community can vote on decisions for how the story will go, which had the potential to be interesting, but they list on each decision, they go like, it's a good guy path, the neutral path, the evil path. So it's just, so there's not really any conflict, because gamers love true endings. We've heard from the Mass Effect developers that 80% of players pick the good route. So it may surprise you that every decision is just going the good guy route anyway. So what is? But I just feel like labeling them was such a huge mistake. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like that just seems brain dead to me.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
I don't understand that at all.
It was kind of like in I don't know if any of you played Catherine, but
Yeah.
I
after
did.
Yeah.
when that game came out and you had to make those decisions at the end of every level, they showed you like the percentages of what everybody else
Oh, yeah.
voted. So inevitably, after a while, they just all came very, very close to 50%
Right.
because everyone always picked the one that was not, or that was a lower one.
Yeah. Well, like you could tell us it was a good guy choice after the poll is closed,
Right.
if you want, but it is just that was nonsense. But more importantly, first of all, this game. So you get these influence points from watching content and clicking around the menu because there are like lore entries you can also read.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all centered around the video stuff, and you get these influence points which you can use, and that's how you cast your votes. Because if you wanted to, it takes 200 points to vote, but if you wanted to, you can basically vote 10 times by using 2,000 influence points
Okay.
to try to sway the vote to your side.
Okay. But I mean,
But
there's millions of people potentially voting, right?
There's definitely not millions of people.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the chat log, because you can pull up the chat log while people are watching. You could. I've already recognized names. There are so few people watching this. So there's not a lot of people, but yeah. So you can sway it one way or the other. That's the idea. And then it's just there's a season pass in this game.
What?
And it's $20
Barf.
to just customize your avatar, because I guess the idea is your character, like if they have like, there are just some detectives that come to the house, right? And it'll say so and so as detective blah blah blah. It'll have like your username, so it would say Ashrak Amain as the detective, and then your character is basically just there getting voiced by the actor or whatever.
Now, is everybody else saying your name or just
Yeah,
you saying your name?
For that episode forever, it'll be that player's avatar.
You're basically paying to have your name in the opening credits, more or
Well,
less.
and the character you designed.
Oh, okay.
But it is weird that the detective just had like a blue T-shirt on with a goofy haircut. It doesn't really feel like a detective.
I have a feeling somebody would ruin that. Just like make the most hideous avatar and just be like, it's gonna be me this week. And here comes somebody who's like 17 feet tall and weighs like 900 pounds. Be like, I'm here to talk to you about things.
It's gonna be me.
Yeah.
That would be
That's
more
exactly
interesting.
what I heard too, man.
But it's mostly just people in the default T-shirt, because why would you spend money customizing this avatar in an app designed around watching a show?
Because
Right.
there's somebody that's gonna do
It's
it.
also $20, dude. That's nuts.
For a mobile app, that's
Remember
It
when we heard that Mario on mobile was going to be $10, and we were like, "That's just insane." $10,
People
like
were. I was happy to pay the $10.
when I played it, I was like, "That this is what a $10 app should be."
Yeah, absolutely. But most importantly, we're there's no such thing as a bad game. This game is off. This writing is dog. I don't know if I can say that on this show. It is so abysmal. None of the characters interact like people. It is so bizarre. Like this woman dies in the beginning cutscene, and then the way the characters talk about it are so strange. Because she'll be like, I have to tell so and so that his sister died, and he'll be like, he was never a fan of the church, and she's like, yeah, I know he doesn't believe in our faith, but he'll blame me for the death of his sister, and he'll be like, yes, he won't react well to his sister's death. That's true. What? But people just talk like that all the time, and it's just
so it's
Are they RoboCop?
it's RoboCop's got more life. But the voice acting, I will say, and some characters are fine. Other characters, whoa, so bad. Like this guy's supposed to be drunk and mad or whatever. He's supposed to be drunk and angry. He's just like, yes, I will burn down their church.
oh, so
for my
somebody
sister.
definitely phoned in some voice lines.
Oh, dude, it's really, they may as well bring in the community to voice these guys, save some money. Oh my God, it's so bad. And then also, Silent Hill, right? It's all about tension and building up the mystery. There's been a giant monster in every single episode.
Really?
That's just
None of this sounds like Silent Hill.
no. I believe one of the storylines is Hope's Crossing. It's a little bit of Silent Hill stuff there, and I'm pretty sure Right, the reveal of that this faith organization is going to be the cult on Silent Hill, right? That would be the obvious move.
Or aliens.
Or a dog. But dude, it's written so bad. Like baffling. Like, why is Konami okay with this?
Makes Shenmue look good.
Dude, unquestionable. The voice acting in Shenmue is next level.
Oh my god!
I would rather the woman in this show be like, "Aren't there any sailors around here?"
Dude. Okay, this bothers me so much because I love Silent Hill.
Yeah,
and like
Silent Hill's cool.
The disrespect to the property, just
like, could they have called it something completely different and it just been fine? Or does it?
So far they haven't used any iconic monsters yet, even. Which is fine by me. I mean,
which means Konami's probably like, no, we're not allowing you to do this.
Right, we're not letting you won't be able to. You can't tarnish the nurses or Pyramid Head with this thing. But it's just, this is the big new Silent Hill project, right? This is the first thing in like 10 years.
Well, I feel like it just. Nope, they didn't talk about it for like the longest time, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, this thing is premiering in a week."
Right,
and I still wasn't even sure what it was. Like, I posted the trailer and I didn't understand what was going on. But and then they released it on Halloween. Like,
yeah. That feels somewhat appropriate, right?
Yeah,
it should be like before. You know what I mean? Like, because by the time you get into November, everybody's done with Halloween. That's a lot of faith in your product to like sustain people coming back to do more episodes.
Horror games, horror movies tend to have more legs now outside of Halloween than just like.
Yeah.
No, I get it, but
I mean, the one of the big horror releases this year is coming on Thanksgiving.
Which one is that?
Eli Roth's Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Or say, Dead Space and Resident Evil were earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I don't. You're right. I don't think horror is restricted to Halloween. I get what you're saying, Scott. I feel like Halloween was probably the right day to debut it, personally.
Okay.
Well, especially
but what's going to happen
mobile.
after? But what's this? Excuse me. What happens to this after it's over? What happens to each episode? Like, can you just still go watch the episode just without the decisions? Because you're not able to make it. It only works if you watch it live, right?
No. So the polls for decisions are open for a few days after, seemingly. Because there's a new video every single day, which is obnoxious.
Like 10 minutes, right?
6 minutes, roughly, yeah. Imagine that. That's a terrible way to tell a story, by the way, in 6 minute daily increments.
Yeah.
Now I go, was this Quibi? What's going on here? Terrible. But yeah, like someone like, what will this character do with the syringe? So therefore, for the next 4 days, because the poll doesn't close in 4 days, so every time they talk about the syringe until then, it's always just like buying more time.
This is all filler.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of like The Walking Dead, where you won't know for 4 weeks what happened to this character.
The Walking Dead is like an HBO drama compared to this thing. Dude,
or like Bleach, when they would have those filler episodes where they're waiting for the manga to get caught up.
The Dragon Ball Z stuff.
Come on, the Dragon Ball Z one's fun. Like Piccolo and Goku getting a license, that's delightful. Give me more of that.
Like a driver's license?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's episodes in Dragon Ball where they go for a driver's license?
Oh, yeah.
That was one of their filler episodes, yeah. Because Goku had to get a license, so Piccolo tagged along to get his too.
I will say that the Bleach fillers were awful.
They always focused on that teddy bear character.
Quan?
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
But. Yeah. But yeah, this is terrible. Avoided at all costs. Just truly insulting to the property, I would say.
Wow.
Just abysmal caliber writing. Like, it's just, I don't know. I assume, Scott, your students are what, 10 and 11?
9 and 10.
9 and 10. I'd rather get them on this thing. I think they would be better writers for this.
I thought you meant to like act in this show or something.
Well, that would probably improve.
That would actually probably be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, that would be. But they would come up with some better idea. It's just so bad, dude. I really tried, because it debuted very poorly, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to watch the full up until the podcast. I'm going to watch this thing every day to see if it improves. No,
gotten worse.
Oh, I mean, it's so bad. Why does nobody talk like a person? Why does everybody talk like that? They're all like exposition robots. and none of them just it's just so bad. Like people, people are dying. It's just
Oh no, he was stabbed.
yeah, or they just don't even react at all. They're like, this poor woman dies in front of them, and they're like, "Oh, this won't look good on the report," or like something like. And then the other person will be like, "Yes, I assume their family will be distraught at this information of their passing." Like, what? Why? Who talks like that? Yeah, they're all RoboCop, man. It's truly baffling.
All right. Silent Hill Ascension. I don't think I'm going to even bother, man.
Nope.
I don't recommend it
I'm
to
out.
anybody.
Yeah,
Nobody.
Yeah.
I'm not touching it.
I feel like the weekly narrative experiment or like this like live stream experiment has potential. First of all, I don't think you can ask people to show up every day at 6 p.m. I think that's a little much.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just a lot to ask of people.
Is that your time? Like 6 o'clock on the West Coast?
Yeah, 6 o'clock West Coast. Yeah.
Still, like,
But I'm saying,
assuming you get off work at 5.
But every day is such a commitment.
That'd be perfect for you, Scott, since you go to bed at 8 o'clock.
Shut up, dude.
Just in a world where weekly streaming shows don't come out at a specific time because I know people just have to watch it when they can or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, anime does. And I'm like, come on, episode.
Yeah, and it's frustrating in this day and age. Anyway, Alyssa, Archetype Arcadia.
Yes.
Please, God, tell me it's better than Silent Hill Ascension.
I'm assuming it is. I can't say too much about the story because it is under... The story is embargoed for some reason.
I find that surprising because it looks like it's just story.
It's just a visual novel, so that's why I'm a little bit like, what? But so far with the story, it follows two siblings named Rust and Kristen. They're 17 and 13 years old, and they're living in a world that's pretty much... It's just post-apocalyptic. I believe probably 90% of the population has died due to this illness called picotomania, where it starts with the person having nightmares, but then they start having hallucinations, and eventually they become really aggressive, and they either off themselves or start offing other people. So 90% of the world has died due to this, and the main character, Rust's sister Kristen, has this disorder, but you can treat it by playing this game named Archetype Arcadia. It's a VR game, and she has to play it every day. And
Anime VR. Yeah. Oh no.
And he has no idea why this helps, but it keeps her from, progressing. But then one day, she doesn't wake up from playing this game. She still has a headset on. He can't get her to wake up, so he goes in, even though you're not supposed to play this if you don't have this illness. So he goes into the game to try to help her, and he's like, why am I in this game? It's kind of like an RPG, but you're battling other players who have this illness and their avatars, and you can feel like actual pain when you're playing. And he's trying to understand how this is helping his sister at all, and he's trying to save his sister from being stuck in the game permanently, and it's just mysteries keep unraveling, and that's pretty much all I can say. It's interesting so far. It is kind of complex with everything that's going on, but I will say there are so many typos.
Oh no.
The voice acting...
It's kind of the one thing you got to get right in a visual novel, I would think.
And they boast about this game having more lines of dialogue than all 3 of the Lord of the Rings books combined. And pretty much every single line I've noticed has at least one typo, if not more. So I'm constantly just noticing typos. I'm like, oh god. I know that doesn't bother a lot of people, but for me, when I'm reading, I notice them immediately, and then I'm like, typo. But, otherwise, it looks pretty good graphically. It's only got Japanese voice acting, so if you were hoping to listen to it, unless you know Japanese, you gotta read it.
Well, you know some, right?
I know some, but not everything, so I do have to read some of it, and then I'm like, typos, so no.
Right. Oh, well, yeah, typos aren't gonna help you learn. That's rough.
So far, I am enjoying it. I have seen... it says it could take 50 hours to complete, but I'm assuming that's doing every route, getting every ending.
Cow.
That's assuming.
A long visual
I'm
novel.
really hoping that's not just one playthrough.
Oh my god, dude, that would be brutal.
Because if that's the case, it might be a while before I have a written review out.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, dude! I get a 45-hour audiobook and I get stressed out.
Yeah. I'm hoping that's just for, that's if you wanted to do every single route, get every ending.
Gotcha.
I'm hoping that's just not just one playthrough. But it didn't specify that in the press material.
Gotcha.
Are there any unique gameplay hooks, or is it just
No.
choosing your own?
You're just reading, and occasionally you make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I haven't made any choices that could negatively affect your game, or positively affect it, I don't think. It just progresses the story. But I'm sure there probably are some choices that are going to pop up that could give you a game over or a bad ending. Just
What do you
haven't got
think-
to that point yet.
What do you think the odds are that the post-apocalyptic world is also a VR simulation?
That's what I thought when I first started playing.
Yeah.
And like maybe the main protagonist is in a VR world seeing all this.
Right. That makes more
So
sense to me.
meta.
Yeah.
Bruh. It's like, what if Neo was already in the Matrix, Like, and he's just in another layer of it, bro.
Inception.
That's
Yeah.
a good movie. I like that movie.
I love
Yeah, I
that
did.
movie.
That was a good movie. I'm looking forward to seeing it unfold more. It's just I know I'm going to see more typos as well.
It's so bad.
It's so
that would-
distracting for me.
No, that would be very frustrating. It's a visual novel, right? Like, the only thing
Yeah.
you have to do is read, and they didn't do that.
You
part
had
right.
one job.
Yeah.
Right.
And unless you're just fluent in Japanese, you can't listen to it and know what they're saying.
That's
so
gotta be.
you have to read.
Well,
It's
the
probably
typo-
more frustrating for us because we're all writers, right?
Yeah,
Well,
that's the
but-
thing.
I would think if I was just a regular consumer, if I see typos, then I'm like, I don't know if I could trust the translation. They can't even get the words right.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it also depends on where it was translated, because unfortunately sometimes it's translated by English as a second language. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
English is a thing.
It was probably translated by Chat GPT in this day and age.
No, Scott, don't make that face. It's an actual thing.
Okay.
It is true that they pronounce L's as R's in Japan at least.
Yeah.
Because L is not part of their alphabet.
But if you go online and type that in, it brings up a massive library of where Japanese does not translate into English, and it makes really funny typos.
Right. No, I get you.
I mean, they've gotten Big Bro down. Because, I mean, every time the character goes, Oni-chan!
Oh,
Big
yeah.
Bro!
Are you sure it's not an anime, dirty game?
No, it's not. I sincerely hope not, at least, because they're 17 and 13 and they're supposed to be siblings.
Like that's ever stopped Japan before.
Actually,
that's
hoping
true.
for more ooh-woo.
They're like, if Game of Thrones can do it, so can we.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
there haven't been any scantily clad characters yet. They're all fully clothed,
All right,
innocent.
Zack's out.
What's the point, right?
Well, there's 45 hours worth of content.
right. Surely they'll get to a hot springs eventually.
I mean, the brother and sister are traveling in this like massive. They call it a trailer, but it's like this big pod thing, and they have like a garden they grow vegetables in so they can eat and they don't starve or anything. And they're trying to find other people, but they haven't found anyone yet.
Oh man. Well, you shouldn't. I don't think you're supposed to look for other people in the apocalypse. I don't think you go.
Well, they are. They're trying to find other people.
Oh man.
Well, that is Archetype Arcadia. Alyssa, you are playing that on
Switch.
On Switch, excuse me. Yes,
But
it is also available on PC.
Yeah, it's also on PC. Yeah.
It came from developer Water Phoenix and published by Kemco and was provided to us by P-Cube. So thank you for letting Alyssa check that one out. She loves those kinds of games. So
I do.
appreciate you checking that out.
Usually.
Usually, yeah. All right, before we move on to our topic, I want to remind everybody about where you can follow the Gaming Outsider. First off, facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. We have 2 new members over there. Someone by the name of Zaaki, Zaaki, and also brand new to the community today, Ellery Frost. Welcome to the Gaming Outsider. Hope you are enjoying the community. If you'd like to be a part of that, be sure to head over there, and I will get you added. I try to keep it posted with relevant news topics, all the episodes, and other discussion inciting things. Also, our Discord is live and thriving. If you'd like to join us, you can do so at the link in the show notes for this very episode. And we also do ask, if you get a chance, drop us a review on iTunes. It does help us get the word out there about the podcast. Excuse me, it's not iTunes anymore. I got to change that. It is Apple Podcasts. And let us know what you think of the show, and we may read it on an episode. Lastly, our website is thegamingoutsider.com. You can find all the episodes there as well as our written content. And Alyssa has 2 reviews this week, one for Stardander School for Witches and another for Scene Investigators. We actually published that today, and the developer actually commented back to Alyssa, which I just absolutely love
cool.
to see it when that happens. So they just seem very gracious of your review, so kudos. And that was also, by the way, guys, that was her 23rd review that she has published this year.
Oh, Stardander was?
Stardander was her 23rd, which means she's working on another game right now. So she will have 24 for sure by the end of the year. And I don't think she's slowing down. That means she's done an average of 2 reviews every month, which is insane to me. Again, I'm jealous of other people's time, but kudos to you, Alyssa. Nice work. With that, let's go ahead and jump into our From the Outside In topic. So I messed up last month and I didn't make the first episode of Community Questions episode, but we are making up for it this week. Every month we ask you guys, the community, to come up with some questions that we could answer on the show to make some interesting conversation, and we're going to get to that. But first, I decided to try something a little bit different this week. I'll have questions from our regular community, but first I went to my classroom. I went to my 4th graders, and I said, hey guys, how would you like to hear your name read on my podcast? And they got super excited. So I made a little, Google Forms submission deal where they could submit a question, and a bunch of them submitted questions, and I thought we would answer them here. So just to be safe, I can't say their names. I'm just going to say their initials. So kids, if you are listening, you guys will know who you are when I say your initials. Plus, you know the question. What do you think? You think I can say their first name? First name only?
You can say
CB,
first.
You're a parent.
You can say first name only.
All right. I will say their first name then. All right. So the first one comes from Dax. And Dax asks, do you think GTA should make a 7, 8, 9, or even a 10? What do you guys think?
They'll eventually get there.
They got to make 6 first.
Yeah, I was going to say, they need to make 6 first.
I actually made him change it because he put a 6, and I was like, dude, they're making 6. We already know that's coming.
Oh.
And so he changed it to 7, 8, 9, or even 10. He said, I feel like I can't answer this question until we see 6.
Yeah.
And then 7 is going to be another,
Dax, just so you know, anticipate GTA 7 on the PS8.
Yeah, I was going to say, he'll have a mortgage by then, paid off.
So it'll be, assumably 12 years probably in between 5 and 6?
Sure.
By the time it comes out, probably 2025. So I think they should at least shoot for 24 years after that to do 7.
Double the length.
Yeah, double that bad boy.
So you got lofty dreams there with 10 for a couple of reasons. One, will GTA still be relevant by then? Will people still be playing video games by then?
GTA 10 will be in real life.
Yeah, it'll just be like Step Outside. Welcome to GTA 10.
Yeah, was it just Detroit?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's hard to answer that question, Dax, because we haven't played 6 to know if they should keep going. But with the success of GTA 5, I can't imagine they won't stop making them. But there's going to be a long gap in between them. By the time you get to 7, you may not be playing video games anymore, man.
I'll tell you what, Dax. I hope we see a new setting for 7. Not because they did the San Andreas with 5, and they did Liberty City with 4, and now they're doing Vice City with 6. So they remade all of the areas again. You know what I mean? So let's see something new, some kind of new part of the country.
Fun fact, Dax. There's an area in GTA 5. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. That is called like Rockford Falls or something like that. Isn't there?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Yes.
yeah, I just remember driving by that. No, whenever I see Rockford, I saw there was a character named Rockford in Final Fantasy 16, and I got all excited. So
yeah, well, I told you about that comic book where they actually name dropped Rockford.
Yeah,
That's
do
cool.
remember that. Corbin writes in and says, "What is your favorite Easter egg in your favorite game?" We actually did an entire episode on Easter eggs, Corbin. I highly recommend you go to thegamingoutsider.com and go in the search bar and.
No, it's important to market to children. Good call.
No. I will tell him what the episode is tomorrow. I'm just saying, I don't remember which episode it was, but we did Easter eggs, and if you search for it, you can find it easily. But boy, favorite Easter egg. I don't remember what they were. What I talked about on the episode.
Either.
Do you guys remember?
Well, you said favorite Easter egg in your favorite game. What is your favorite Easter egg in A Link to the Past?
Oh, there you go. My favorite Easter egg in Link to the Past is the one, and I didn't actually learn this until recently, but there is a hidden room that there was a contest in Nintendo Power and some kid won a contest and he got to have his name in the game. And there's a hidden room in Link to the Past that has nothing but blue rupees. And then you touch the wall like you're talking to Sahasrara or whatever. And he mentions this kid's name that was in Nintendo Power. I thought that was a really cool Easter egg.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah. What about you guys? Zach, what's your favorite Easter egg in Red Dead Redemption 2?
Well, so if you explore around Saint Denis, you can find these little like markings, like almost like little rhymes and alleyways and stuff. But they just get creepier as you find them.
Yes.
And it'll talk about like tasting of her flesh or whatever. But if you find them all, you can piece together where you need to go, and then you'll just see a vampire feasting on a lady.
Yes, I did that.
And I thought that was super cool. And it's pretty great because the game there's not like any quest marker or notifications or whatever. You just have to pay attention to what you're reading and stuff and put it together yourself, and then it's just a freaking vampire there.
I think I remember reading about that.
Yeah. And I think those Easter eggs are fun because the game takes itself so seriously and realistically otherwise. That just, here's just a vampire.
Yeah.
Or there's a ghost train you can find.
Man, bear, pig.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right, Alyssa, what about you? I don't even remember what your favorite game is.
Mass Effect 2, but I don't know if it has any Easter eggs in it.
Okay.
I know there's a part where they make fun of the Tower of Hanoi, which I like, which is a type of puzzle they use in every BioWare game before that.
Oh, that's true.
That's about.
All right.
I don't really know.
I'm trying to think of it because there are a lot of great moments in that game, like
but I can't think of Easter eggs.
Morden Solus singing. He's a very model of a scientist Solarian. That's pretty good, but it's not really an Easter egg, I guess.
Yeah.
CB, what's your favorite Easter egg in Galaga?
There aren't any.
You can get the space hamster, which is a reference to Baldur's Gate 2. So that's a little Easter egg.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's now I do.
If I'm gonna pick a favorite Easter egg for one of my favorite games, it would be the inclusion of the sipping birds from
Galaga?
No, from Alien Isolation.
Oh, okay. The little thing that like goes in the water
that goes
and then
in your
comes
water.
back up.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question comes from Liam. He says, "Have you ever played in virtual reality before?" I know that the three guys here have. Alyssa,
I live
think
in
you
virtual reality.
I have played some VR. I've only played PSVR, and I played is it Moss or Mouse?
Moss. No,
I thought it was Mouse. Is it not?
Moss.
I've heard
Oh.
both
M-O-S-S?
pronunciations.
Moss.
Yeah.
Moss.
Oh, yeah. No, it is Moss. You're right. I'm sorry.
I played that one, and then I played Super Hot in VR, and then I tried playing a horror game, and I know CB said the name of it once when I mentioned it, and I can't think of it. I think it was CB. But it made me extremely motion sick.
Don't knock.
Something at home.
Sweet Home?
Maybe it was that, yeah. In VR. But it made me extremely motion sick. Also played Beat Saber. That was fun.
Beat Saber's great.
I don't have too much experience, but I have played in VR.
Pistol Whip.
Pistol Whip is great.
Pistol Whip would be great for Alyssa because it doesn't. There's not a lot of up and down motion. It's more just riding a rail.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if I'll ever play it again, but
I need to get my. I loaned my Quest to a friend who loaned me his copies of the Coheed and Cambria graphic novels. And we haven't traded it back yet. But I used to bring that to school and do Richie's Plank experience with the kids. That was a lot of fun. Should try to do that again. But yeah, Zach, you obviously had a PSVR, didn't you?
Yeah, very, very briefly. I don't really remember what I played on it other than Moss Book 1 and Beat Saber.
That Batman game was really good. It was short.
Oh yeah, Arkham VR, that was cool.
Vader Immortal?
Vader Immortal's a lot of fun.
I did not play that.
Oh.
I don't think it was out when I had to set.
Part of me feels like you need to play that, man.
No, I think it'd be fun as hell.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game.
But I think there was a cool Spider-Man one for Far From Home where you could like web sing a little bit. That was kind of neat. But I think the best is probably Beat Saber though.
Yeah, that was fun.
Audio
nice little workout too.
Audio Shield.
Audio Shield is. I have not played it, but I know what you're talking about.
It's a kind of like Beat Saber, but instead of using lightsabers, you have shields on your arms, and there's giant balls coming that you have to block out of the way.
It's like Missile Command, but for real.
I was gonna say that's not that's not as cool as having a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yeah, but unlike Beat Saber, Audio Shield can play literally any song.
Right.
All right. Charlotte asks, why did you choose to podcast? CB, why did you choose to podcast?
Because Scott Clark beats me with a sock filled with quarters if I don't.
Don't lie to my students, man.
Because Scott Clark will give me a failing grade if I
There you
don't
go.
podcast. No, I enjoy it. Just talking with friends, having an outlet that I can talk with people about the strange thoughts in my brain.
Mm-hmm. Alyssa?
Well, I adore the three of you. You're pretty much some of my favorite people, and I feel really comfortable around you guys. I don't always feel comfortable around people, and it's nice to have people to talk to, especially about stuff I'm interested in, and you guys don't judge me. And yeah, I just have a lot of fun. I look forward to this every week, so that's mainly why I do this, because I love it so much. And I love you guys so much.
Aw. Zach?
I'm a narcissist. You know, just love talking. I'm just obviously no, I don't know. I just always I listened to podcasts back ever since, before there were really podcasts. I remember the GameSpot.com. I don't know if you kids even know what that is. They had this like talk show, like I think it was a Hotspot, right, or On the Spot or something like that. But I would download those videos and convert them to MP3 and burn them to CDs.
Oh yeah.
You guys are gonna have to Google that. And then I would listen to just the tracks that way, and that would be like my podcast on the go before there were even iPods.
I remember having to download an MP4 wave converter.
Wow, yeah.
For those that remember what that is.
That's cool. So to me, it was always because I had plenty of friends that played video games, but none of them really thought about them the way I did. Kind of more intellectually or with the artistic merit of it was, and that's what I cared about most. Even back in PS2 or Xbox days, or PS1 obviously, but even when the internet was around, I just felt like I'd never found those people. So I always just listened to podcasts, and I always wanted to do my own so that way I could actually engage in these conversations instead of just living vicariously through them. And then the Gaming Outsider with Scott Clark happened, and now I can talk annoyingly about video games every week.
There you go.
You're not annoying, by the way.
Well, thanks. What about you, Scott?
Mine is very similar to yours. I listen to podcasts. When I found out that I could listen to other people talking about video games, my world was completely opened up, and that was over 10 years ago. And I started listening religiously, and let's see, what was one of the early ones I listened to was One Up Yours.
Oh yeah.
And then that evolved into Weekend Confirmed with Garnet Lee, and a guy on that podcast that was a regular guest was Jeff Kanata, who as much as I loved listening to other podcasts, everybody else always was super negative. All they did was just talk about how much they hated every game they played. And Jeff Kanata was a breath of fresh air in terms of he liked everything. He loved loving things. That's kind of his go-to phrase. And I was like, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. And I started a podcast. Actually, I started the gaming podcast first, but it wasn't the Gaming Outsider. It was the Official Thread podcast. And then I started the Hollywood Outsider podcast with Aaron Peterson, a good friend of mine. And the Official Thread eventually became the Gaming Outsider way down the line. And I just did it because I wanted to have an excuse. I wanted purpose behind playing my video games. I love playing them, but I also wanted to have a reason to do it other than just the pure fun. And I also love talking to people about my favorite hobby because they like to do the same things I do. And growing up, I wanted nothing more than people that liked video games as much as I did. And I had to do a podcast to find them. So there you go. That's a long-winded response, Charlotte, but thank you for your question. Next up is Thomas, who says, who is your favorite character in any game? Alyssa.
Lara Croft from Tomb Raider.
All right. CB?
She's so cool.
You're talking about me or Laura?
Andrew Ryan.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good one.
Andrew Ryan.
Wow, a villain, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's all about perspective, right?
Dude, I'm sorry. I like what he stood for.
Yeah.
Oh, Grant. CB's an objectivist.
Sometimes
He's like Steve Ditko, co-creator Spider-Man. John Marston.
John Marston. I feel like that's a tough question because, my favorite video game series is The Legend of Zelda, but I don't think that Link is a incredibly interesting character.
Ganondorf did nothing wrong.
Jesus. Hyrule deserved what it got.
Boy, I should have put more thought into this one. Favorite character? Probably, man, I really like Samus Aran from Metroid. I think she's genuinely interesting.
She's cool. And more interesting if you ignore Other M.
See, and that's unfortunately that's where I feel like you probably get more story. You get more story in a Metroid game in that one than you do in others. At least in terms of dialogue, right?
Because she actually talks and stuff.
Right. So,
we
Thomas,
didn't know how good we had it until she started talking.
Thomas, I may have to come back and give you another answer at school, but that's my initial response. Ava wants to know when did people first start playing video games? I believe this is a Zack question.
Whoa. Well, I guess Space War would be the first real video game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because some people say Birdie the Brain, but I don't agree that counts because it was really just kind of a computer. You didn't, it didn't use video output in much the same way, but it was just like an interactive tic-tac-toe basically.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just basically a light up thing. So the real first game would be Space War, right?
Yeah.
Created in a college campus, right?
And wasn't it like an oscilloscope or something like that?
No, because I thought the first one was on the oscilloscope was people play tennis.
Tennis for Two?
Tennis for Two.
I think that was like a year. I thought that was like a year after Space War.
That was 1958.
But they're both right around the same time. But
Yeah.
Well, and the answer you're probably really looking for, Ava, it would be Pong, right? Because that would be the first important video game, like commercially released video game.
Yeah,
right?
I would you buy and take home.
Yeah.
And that was in the 70s, late 70s?
Yeah, around 74.
So,
and that was basically just a Tennis for Two ripoff, right?
So over 50 years ago, Ava, to answer your question. Carter says, what is the first video game on the Nintendo Switch? Let's see. It was either
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I was thinking Breath of the Wild.
1-2 Switch. Did they release
that?
That
was another launch title.
Oh, yeah.
I think those were the only two on day one, wasn't it?
I think so.
No, Shovel Knight was day one. I remember that.
But that was on other consoles too, was?
Yeah.
I mean, besides Switch, though.
Are you sure Shovel Knight came out on day one?
I am pretty. I can check.
I could have swore it was just those two. Because I remember being like, man, remember when Nintendo came out with like multiple titles? CB, you look flustered.
No. I was right. Tennis for Two was 1958. Space War was 62.
Okay. But yeah. All right.
But I will agree, for functionality's sake, Space War was probably
okay.
I'm sure, yeah.
Would the difference be that? Yeah, I guess they're both oscilloscope games. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, Space War is playable. Tennis for Two sucks.
It's not even a full Pong clone.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty darn sure I bought Shovel Knight right on when I got the Switch, but I could be mistaken.
Okay.
Either way, I guess it's not a Nintendo game.
Right.
If you actually look it up, technically it is Breath of the Wild was the first announced title for Switch.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, just like, well, technically Dark Sector was the first announced Xbox 360 game.
Yes.
Naomi wrote a question, and she wanted to know, how are games made? Boy, is that a loaded question, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
You become a super nerd, and you sit in a dark room with a computer, and you push buttons till things happen.
Yeah, you have to learn a language called coding.
Yep.
Shovel Knight was a launch title for the Switch.
Okay, there you go.
There's about a dozen games. They're mostly downloadable games, though.
Gotcha.
Oh my god, I forgot Super Bomberman R was a launch title.
God, was it?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
Dude, Konami represent.
But Naomi, yes, like CB said, it's a lot of sitting at a computer and writing code, which is just lots of numbers and symbols that I don't understand how it works because I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't speak the language, but what a lot of developers do is they use what's called a game engine, which is more or less a massive computer program that allows people to design games, kind of like I'm trying to think of something that we use at school that they might be able to
Legos.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like imagine. Okay, there you go. Like imagine
Well,
like you
digital
had-
Legos.
Roblox.
Yeah, it's digital Legos, kind of like like in Minecraft, but they actually get to go in this and build a world, kind of like you do in Minecraft. And they put together levels, and they put together characters, and they get artists and musicians and voice actors, and it's a lot of moving parts to do it, but it all comes down to ones and zeros on the computer at the end of the day.
And before all that, somebody has to come up with the concept. These are writers
That's
and
true.
directors, or as I call them, heroes.
Yes.
These are the people that are going to publishers, and they're the ones, they're putting all the story together, all the important stuff that you probably don't care about.
Yeah.
and then they sell the idea to a publisher who then ruins the lives of the developers and just extracts the maximum value out of them. Just really doesn't let them have days off, just really punishes them.
You're totally
for
going to
the-
bum Naomi out right now.
for the audacity of wanting to do something creative and put art out into the world.
All right. Well, on that bright note, let's go on to Alan's question. And I got 2 Alans in my classroom, so this is Alan with an A. He says, how many videos have you recorded in the Gaming Outsider? I love that, like, they just assume we do,
No.
videos.
No, I'm gonna answer this legitimately.
Oh.
We don't really do videos because Scott Clark is too pretty for video. If we put him on video,
That's true.
it would just ruin the internet. There would just be a lot of
It would
fangirls
just
out
melt.
there.
They haven't invented the camera yet that could properly capture it.
Oh,
It's
my
just,
goodness.
I mean,
8K's on the way.
The hair, it's so feathered and lethal.
Not anymore. It is
Right.
It is starting to grow back, but yeah.
They chopped it off.
They
Or
did.
the kids did, yeah.
Not
Yep.
this group. It was my group from last year.
Okay.
Not 5th graders, but to answer Alan's question, we generally don't do videos. We are on YouTube, but it's just audio format only. And the reason we don't is because it's a lot of work, and we don't have a video editor, so we just kind of do audio. It's but that's we're old.
Well, I was gonna say I'm old because I'm not going to watch a video podcast ever.
Yeah,
I will
Yeah.
only listen to audio podcasts.
same here.
And it grows increasingly frustrating as the times evolve and people refer to things that are popping up on the screen that I can't see.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm absolutely just not going to watch a bunch of people talk to a microphone.
That's because we're old. The younger generation
Yes,
definitely likes to watch things.
I do
Twitch.
do not see the appeal of it, but to each their own.
There
Yeah.
is one visual podcast that I subscribe to,
Which
unfortunately.
is
2 Bears, 1 Cave.
And that's
okay.
Bert Kreischer
Yeah.
and Tom Segura,
Bert
right?
and Tom.
Is this okay? It's definitely it's a gay lifestyle podcast, I assume.
No,
No.
no, it's just 2 comedians.
No. I feel like the 2 Bears, 1 Cave.
Just so you guys know, I did this with the intention of my students listening.
I had that in mind.
Whoa, no. Hold on. What's controversial about gays and their lifestyles?
I'm not saying there is. I'm talking about they're gonna go do some googling of the title of that.
Mom, what's a bear?
Yeah. Let's
They
see.
hibernate. They hibernate on winter bears.
But I guess I can answer this specifically a little bit more for Alan. This is our 475th episode of the podcast, but that also does not count all the Patreon episodes we do. We try to do 2 per month. So over the course of 10 years, so you figure 240 on top of that. About
And plus,
200.
all of us haven't been here for the entire time, so
Right, yeah, we had an old crew before these guys. When did you guys join? 200 something?
50.
I joined 2 years ago, so I don't even
Yeah.
know what number it was.
As a
Right.
guest,
it
50
hasn't
was my
really been
first.
2 years.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Crazy.
As
Time flies.
as a guest, 50 was my first episode. As a mainstay, Zach and I both came in at 185.
There you go.
Wow, that was. Oh my god, really? Like 300 episodes ago?
Yeah, dude.
We've been doing this. We've been doing this a while.
I know. When
Oh
do we
my
when do we
God.
stop? That's the question.
Never.
Yeah, when Grand Theft Auto
No,
10
we'll
comes
be
out.
in the nursing home still doing it.
When I was your age.
Don't you guys remember Advent Rising?
We had to play video games with our hands.
It's pretty crazy.
Back when I had more hair.
All right, next question comes from Morgan, the biggest Sonic the Hedgehog fan in my school.
Yo, Morgan, a real one. Shout out. Shout out's the best character. I think we can agree on that, Morgan.
Morgan wants to know, when was the first Legend of Zelda game released?
Well, nobody answer.
Nope.
Scott.
This is Scott
Scott.
Clark. Don't look it up.
Yeah,
What it was.
this is your Scott.
It's either 84 or 85.
Ooh, 1986.
Is it
Yeah.
6?
Japan. 87 in America.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 86 Japan. Yeah, 87. I want to say it was November, but that could be also
November.
forever.
I can't remember if it was America or Japan, but one of them I think came out in February because I remember being like, Zelda's 5 years old.
I think it was November
me.
86 in Japan, February 87 in America.
There you go.
Yeah, that sounds, yeah. I remember it being like, I wish I was born a few years earlier so I could be as old as Zelda when I was a kid.
Tyseer wants to know, do you think they should make a Mario Kart 9 or even a 10? Why, when they can just keep adding tracks to Mario Kart 8?
That's
for the
true.
next 20 years.
I mean, even the 8's flip, so it's the infinity symbol.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And
That's true.
But like from a pure business standpoint, they definitely should, because clearly people will buy it.
Mm-hmm.
No, they shouldn't make a Mario Kart night. They should just make a Nintendo Kart and just finally like have all the characters.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like to Alyssa's point, it's 8, it's an infinity symbol. That's all they even need anymore.
But they had no idea when it came out in 2012 that it would still be in tracks in 2023.
Yeah,
right?
that game
Or
came
did
out,
they?
That game came out before you were born, Tyseer. Not exaggerating.
Whoa, dude, that's crazy to think about.
It is.
I was gonna say it came out on a whole different console, but
It did come out on a different
man.
console, but it came out before they were born. They probably don't even know what the Wii U is.
that's nope, barely anyone did
Yeah.
based on the sales.
All right, Ariana asks, who was the first person to make video games? And Grace also asks, what year was the first game ever made? So this one is one that's heavily debated, right? It's either
Okay, I'm
Bear.
just because I look it up. Bear.
What's his
Well,
name?
I looked it up.
Talking about Birdie
Yeah.
the Brain?
I'm misremembering the name.
Oh, you're
Tennis
talking
for
the
Two?
name of the actual developer.
If
Yeah.
if we're going with Tennis for Two, which came out in 1958, that was
William
created by
Higginbotham
William Higginbotham.
and Robert Duvak.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say it was made by a bunch of stuffy nerds in a college campus.
No, but who made Space War?
Some dude.
Yeah, that one I don't know.
That one I don't know. But I do know who made the first
Scott sounds boy, even though he doesn't know either.
the first
Ralph-
swappable cartridge was Jerry Lawson with Fairchild Channel F.
Bob
Ralph
Saunders.
Baer. I was not
Ralph Baer.
wrong.
He made Space War?
Ralph
He's not
Baer
even-
is. I thought in my mind when I hear Ralph Baer, I think father of video game.
Okay.
I mean, that's like from the video games, the movie documentary that I watched.
Not going to go with Nolan Bushnell.
Nolan Bush. That's what I'm saying. It's either Ralph Baer or Nolan Bushnell. It goes between those two. Is the debate, because there's like actually no definitive, first person. It's like everybody debates it, and I haven't done the history research myself to know, but either Ralph Baer or Nolan Bushnell.
And the sad thing is, they're like, you have the other like pioneers like Jerry Lawson who gets so overshadowed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so Ralph Baer, right? Because he's Magnavox Odyssey, right? And that's why he's important.
Yeah.
And Bushnell was the Atari.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which was later.
Right.
Yeah. But neither of them made Tennis for Two or Space
Right.
War.
That's so you have a whole lot of different things
So,
that make
so
sense.
there's no consensus.
So Higginbotham.
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 That's
William Higginbotham and Robert Duvak with Tennis for Two.
my old pal Willie Higginbotham.
It's a humdinger of a name.
Yes.
I love how you pronounce your G's, Alyssa. It makes me smile every time.
How do I pronounce my G's?
A humdinger instead of a humdinger.
I never knew I said it that way.
Dinger?
It's a southern thing, and I just find it.
Yeah, but you
totally
also have that
endearing.
Wisconsin problem.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, I
I
know.
usually don't hear my southern.
I wasn't
accent.
making fun of her. I was
No.
legitimately think it's awesome.
Do you
Yeah,
drink- do
I
you
know
drink
he's not
from a
making fun of me.
Water fountain or a bubbler, Scott?
I drink from water fountain, but people north of me call it a bubbler, which is still weird to me.
Oh wow.
Last question from my classroom. It comes from Bella, and she says, "Are girls allowed to be a gamer or play games?"
No, of course, girls can be gamers. Of course, there's no doubt. In fact, you could argue that everybody is a gamer and they just don't know it because everybody plays, Bejeweled or Candy Crush or something like that. So everybody's a gamer. They just don't want to admit it.
And I actually told her when she wrote this question to me, and I pulled it up to my desk to talk to her about it. I said, "Look, one of my co-hosts is a woman,
Yes,
and she plays more video games than I do." I literally told her that you play more video games than I do.
that's me. But
So-
also, just to address it, I've been playing games for a very long time. I was younger than you are, Bella, when I started playing games, and no one ever told me I couldn't play games. And I've been playing for a very long time now. But I'm also into other stuff, like anime and manga that a lot of people think are stuff that only boys could be interested in. If you want to play games or you want to be interested in anime or manga or anything you want to be interested in, you can be interested in it. It doesn't matter if it's what people say is typically for boys or for girls. You can be interested in it. And if you want to do it, you just do it. If you want to play games, Bella, you play games.
You do you, kid. Screw the haters.
If anyone's ever mean to you, just ignore them. Just ignore them. Do what makes you happy.
See, manga and books, I always just assume more girls read anyway.
Oh, no. At least on TikTok, TikTok, very much a boys' club, but
Certainly more girls read books, right?
well, manga-wise, not
Yeah.
as much. The demographics are larger for boys and men,
Yeah.
but you can still read those as well.
I was always a weird boy with manga anyway because I was reading Fruits Baskets and Card Captor, Sakura, and
Well, those are
I was
both aimed towards girls and women.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So my manga taste tend to drift.
You had excellent manga taste, though.
I think so.
Well, that is all the questions from my students. Thank you to Mr. Clark's class for doing that. That was kind of fun. Let's move on to the community, starting over on Facebook. Sean Coates writes and says, I've always kind of had a belief that the original Xbox in some ways is the Dreamcast 2. Looking into it more, it was rumored that the Xbox was going to be compatible with Dreamcast games, but they couldn't figure out how to handle the online features of Dreamcast games. Also, the fact that many Sega games initially greenlit for Dreamcast were then shifted to become Xbox exclusives, like Shenmue 2, Panzer Dragoon Orta, and Jet Set Radio Future, just to name a few. I'd like to know if any of you agree with that assessment. Also, let's not forget the Xbox and Dreamcast controllers are strikingly similar. This seems like a Zack question. What do you think, Zack?
I had never thought about it or looked into it before, but I mean, he's right? Like a lot of the features Dreamcast is famous for, the online functionality and the kind of weird nature to the Dreamcast. You think about how weird the original Xbox is, right? Like the home screen whispers at you, demonically.
What?
Like if you
leave it on. Leave it on for a couple hours and just listen.
Have you if you just leave it in the main menu, you don't have a disc in the tray, Scott? Have you ever just listened to the Xbox and the weird whispers it does at you?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah, and it just gets creepier as it goes too.
What does it say?
I'm gonna have to YouTube this.
It's kind of like indecipherable.
It is, but there's a lot of urban legends to it.
Of course there is.
So the Xbox is a very weird system. He's right in that way. And I mean, it's a great point. Like the first Shenmue, is on Dreamcast, and then the second one, I mean, it was released. Shenmue 2 was released in Dreamcast as well, but it's most famous for being an Xbox exclusive over here.
Didn't also the original Xbox controllers? Didn't you put the memory cards in the top of the controller, kind of like you put those things in the Dreamcast controller?
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I have a feeling there was some corporate crossover when Sega folded. And some people moved over and they wanted to keep some of the properties off of things like PlayStation, which was a primary competitor at the time. So they're like, we'll go with anybody but you.
Well, didn't Peter Moore, he worked on the Dreamcast, right? And then Kate went over to 360.
That's what I'm saying. Like there was some corporate crossover where people who worked for Sega moved into Microsoft. Mostly because, again, there was so much bad blood between the companies.
Because we got bad blood.
Oh, no.
That's right, Swifty.
I'm a Swiftie as well, and now it's stuck in my head now, Scott.
You heard it when he said that, right? Like, you can't hear those two words without hearing that song.
If you're a Swiftie.
So, yeah, Sean, I've never thought about it before, but I guess you're totally right. Yeah, because, I mean, he just listed a bunch of, Dreamcast sequels.
Solid evidence, yeah.
And Yeah, or yeah, they had some weird. Like Steel Battalion being on Xbox. It was just a weird console that was open to bizarre ideas.
Well, I mean, they wanted to be a risk taker, which, like, I'm gonna have to do some research to this because where they talk about they couldn't handle the online features, but the original Xbox did have online capability.
Maybe he was just implying that the way Xbox games ran couldn't interface with the Dreamcast or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I got to do some research onto that because I know you can just straight up burn CDs of the Dreamcast games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the easiest console to pirate.
Yeah, right. I remember that. I didn't do it, but I remember talking about that. All right, let's move on. CB, you want to take the first one from Discord?
Drew Ross. What game/franchise would you turn into a horror game entry?
Man.
So, circle back to me on this one because I got to think
All right.
real quick.
All right, Zach.
Lego.
Oh man.
I mean, there's a lot of possibilities there.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun to see a Lego take on a horror thing.
Like take a horror property and make it a Lego game?
Yeah, but like lean into the horror though.
Like Resident Evil?
That'd be cool.
Stab somebody,
Well,
little
yeah.
red studs fall out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my first joke was just going to be Resident Evil would be nice to see as horror again. Because it was really
Wow.
only 7. But yeah, no, I feel like there's something there.
Yeah,
Or like Lego Alien or something
dude,
like that.
I think you are, but it'll never happen because of the strict policies that Lego has placed upon any of their intellectual property.
Yeah, but luckily I don't have to think realistically here.
But I know, but it's just so weird to think about because like Lego won't even make military toys. Like,
well,
their guidelines are like so strict on what can be made.
I guess it's good they don't have military propaganda as part of Lego.
Like they won't even make, they won't even make like OD green.
Well, I was gonna say, is that why they don't have the Halo license because it's so close to warfare?
Yeah, but then
I
have
guess they have
Star Wars.
Yeah, but in war is right in the title.
And they're making the ornithopter from Dune.
Yeah, that's weird. Or they have an Avatar license as well, which is all about war.
Yeah.
Alyssa, how about you?
I'm gonna go with something that will never happen, and it's very outlandish, but Animal Crossing.
Animal
Tom
Crossing
Nook.
in a horror?
I don't know. There's enough fan fiction out there that I feel that could actually happen.
I don't know if Nintendo would allow it.
No, Nintendo
but
would never know.
No,
that.
not
Tom
within
Nook be the
our
ultimate
lifetime.
enemy. He already is, but
Tom Nook. I was gonna say Tom Nook already is a horror icon.
but now he's chasing you around,
He is.
and you're trying to escape him.
Give
Well,
me
he's in his little office, and you had to give him bells. But now he's chasing you around. He's not confined to his office.
Animal Crossing, kill the landlord.
Good. I think Nintendo could do something if they just lean full into horror for a Zelda game. That
would be
I mean, there were
awesome.
some. I mean, think about remember those ghosts?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's horror elements. There's some scary stuff.
The screeching things that like make you man, those were freaky when I was a kid.
Or the whole Shadow Temple is kind of like a horror,
Yeah.
a haunted mansion. It would be kind of cool.
I would love to. Remember how Red Dead Redemption did that?
Undead Nightmare.
Undead Nightmare, or Borderlands at one time had DLC that was all Halloween themed. I would like something like that in Assassin's Creed, where
Cool.
like you just take Baghdad or Jerusalem or Italy or wherever and just make it all like zombified versions of those places. I think would be super fun.
See, my first instinct was Assassin's Creed just because it has all the time period options. But then the Assassin's Creed Hex is a horror game set during the Salem witch trials.
Oh, I didn't watch the trailer for that one yet.
Yeah, the trailer's not out. It was just when they did that rundown of all the Assassin's Creed games coming to that their Infinity launcher thing they're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, when they announced the Feudal Japan one, they announced the horror one as well.
Forgot about that one.
That sounds awesome.
Does.
CB, did you come up with one?
So I was sitting here trying to think of like what's the most wholesome thing you could think of. And like I just want to
more wholesome than Animal Crossing.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh,
Like a
Go from loving
crossover of
everyone to hating everyone.
of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and Bob Ross. Just make him evil.
Just have Bob Ross as like a zombie painting, just like the
No.
most horrific.
No. I want the urban legend version of Bob Ross where like every one of his paintings is like there's a theory that every one of Bob Ross paintings is like where he like buried a body.
Oh yeah, I've
Oh
heard
my
that
goodness!
before.
Come on.
But it's just a theory.
We'll just put this happy little tree out here alone on the lake, and that's
See,
where
I'd rather
I buried
he-
my fourth victim.
He just like eats you and calls it a happy little accident. I'm into that.
But like, can you imagine? Like, because part of that is because I just actually watched It yesterday,
Okay.
It Chapter 1, and there's a scene where the guy's like creeping up behind his dad and stabs him in the neck, but he's watching that kids show on TV, and like the lady just turns to him, she's like, kill them all," and I'm like, oh man, like that'd be so disturbing.
It was pretty creepy. That movie's easily rewatchable too. I really do.
Oh
like
yeah.
that. I like the kids better than the adults, although I will say they did a really good job casting adults that resembled their younger counterparts quite well. I
Just
like that movie.
Just if you're ever gonna do that kind of thing again, please make it better than Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Even though that's getting a sequel, so
That looks pretty bad.
All right, Zach, you want to do the next one?
Mark Zemansky writes in, has there been a review game that you had to force yourself to play, just absolutely dreading it, but it wound up being awesome? Ooh, that's a tough one. What about you, Scott? Anything come to mind?
No, because we don't really force ourselves to play anything. The way our review process works is I post trailers in a group on Discord.
I know a game I was forced to play.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. So don't tell me that, Scott.
Well, there were a couple instances, yeah.
Like I said, Scott will beat me with a sock full of quarters.
But did it wind up being awesome?
No,
No.
it was terrible.
You're talking about Tour de France, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were
Oh,
going to
yeah.
talk about that one Xbox game that we had to like buy another copy of. We didn't get it coverage.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, no, I mean, because the way it works is we post trailers, and if someone is interested in reviewing it, then they express interest and I request a copy, and then we do or don't get a copy. So most of the time, if we're reviewing a game, it's because we're already interested in it. We don't ever,
Mhm.
I don't ever like assign someone and say, you're going to review this game. I don't care if you don't want to. It's not how it works over here. So
Well,
Come to think of it,
Besides
don't let
Tour de
Scott fool
France.
you. Scott is the king.
Alien Fireteam Elite.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I legitimately went into that game utterly dreading it because I hate XCOM. I hated XCOM style games, and I was worried they were going to ruin the like just dig a deeper hole with that franchise.
Mm-hmm.
That game is legitimately awesome.
Yeah, I never remember that you were like that against it though, because when I asked you if you wanted to review it, I was like,
Well,
I offered it to you because of your love and affinity for the series.
I took it because I was like, I legitimately don't want to pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, I want to play it, I want to see what they do, but I was like, I don't want to pay for this. Without the review copy, I would have never played this. Never in a million years.
How's that review coming?
It's there somewhere. Stuck in my brain.
Well, get it unstuck. Put it on paper, man.
I'm trying.
Uh-oh.
Zach, did you have any?
Not that I super remember. There have been games where like it's coming up on the review. I'm like, oh man, do I want to play this or not? But I never like any that I really feel like I dreaded. And then usually if I was cautious, I was correct. The only one I could really think of was that G.I. Joe game.
Oh,
Operation
okay.
Blackout?
That I signed up to review, that I agreed to review because it looked like some mid-tier fun or whatever. And then you're like letting me know that I had the code. And then my first instinct was, what the hell am I don't even like G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Why did I sign up for this?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was, it wasn't like great, but it was really good. And then I was like, maybe I was wrong about G.I. Joe all these years. So and now And now, like, there's a G.I. Joe comic coming up that I'm excited to read, and certainly because of that game, kind of opened me up to that world.
Wow.
Actually,
So,
Cool.
I think the flip that you made on Red Dead Redemption 2.
well, sure, that's his story, but that also wasn't a review game.
Who wrote the review for
I don't-
that?
Nobody
Nobody
was
did.
Oh.
infamously.
Oh,
we had
yeah.
we have people leave because of that. Yeah, but usually, if I'm dreading a game like, say, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I was right because that game was
Shut up. That game was great.
aggressively average. Odyssey, you're out of your mind.
I loved it.
There's no.
But,
I like
well,
that.
I think
There's no-
I think it's because you chose the wrong person.
Oh, did you
Cassandra?
play?
I did
Cassandra was the
Cassandra's-
right choice.
I didn't play Cassandra.
No, I think I picked the right person.
I think I did too.
I just don't.
I also played as her.
Well, that's because you wanted the extracurriculars.
You know what's really fun about that game is if I just press the attack button on every single enemy, it worked all the time. They died.
Yeah.
Really, really engaging combat. Loved it. Or I really love how in these RPG Assassin's Creed, how if you assassinate somebody, it's not a guaranteed kill. That's really fun. Really takes me into really immerses me in the Assassin's
You
world.
really need to play Mirage.
I know.
Yeah, you really do.
What about you, Alyssa?
I've never dreaded a game. Like you said, you post the trailers and the short little synopsis in the Discord, and if we're interested, we ask for it. And I don't request any games that don't look interesting to me. Now, I have had games that I thought were going to be fun, and I started playing them, and then I was like, oh no. But that hasn't happened too often. But I've never actually dreaded starting playing a game or anything of that nature. I've always looked forward to them. I
have, but not because like it's a game I requested. Like if ever somebody is not able to review a game, or they just decide that, oh, I changed my mind, I'm not going to be able to review this game anymore, I end up doing it usually. And there was a game, but in almost every case, I dread it, and then I was right to dread it. I did not. There was hardly there. I can't think of a single time where I picked up somebody else's game, reviewed it, and then was blown away by how quality it was. So, Milky Way Prince is one, and I still never wrote the review for that game.
I have that game now, so I can play it one day and review it if I need to.
That is a weird game, man. I did not like that game. But anyway, Alyssa, you're up for the next one.
Paul Hine writes, which game have you completely loved, but your immediate friend group just despised? Any consistent IPs that you all disagree on, or has it just snuck up on you and surprised you?
Well, let's see. For Scott and Zack, that'd be BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I guess
I love that game.
Yeah, that game's no good. I mean, in my personal, in the non-podcasting world, every time I talk about The Last of Us Part 2, it feels like I'm talking about a war crime, the way people react to how terrible they think that game is.
I think that game is stellar.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
It's great.
Borderline Immaculate. It's phenomenal. But everybody in my real life thinks it's terrible. But also, whenever I ask them, oh yeah, how far did you get? They're like, oh, not 2 hours, or oh, I didn't, or I heard about what happened at the beginning, so I didn't even bother.
Or there was a political reason why I decided to not play the game.
I hated that argument.
It mostly seems to be about the opening twist for people in my life.
Okay.
But that's also, you're not giving the story a chance then. Also, how do you know it's terrible then?
Yeah.
True. You gotta
There's
play it to know.
There's a good reason for that to happen
Yeah.
in terms of the rest of the story.
Wonderful, wonderful video game.
Everybody else here is probably tired of hearing me talk about pinball.
No,
No, it's fine. It's just
yeah.
it's a you thing, not a me thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love your enthusiasm.
I mean, I'll play
I do
pinball.
too.
It's just it's not my first choice.
I will always be excited to listen to somebody talk about something they love.
Yeah, me
The
too.
same way.
For me and Scott, it's definitely Ikaruga.
Oh my god, I want to like that game. I want to be good at it.
You
I
just
can't.
suck at it.
This is something I was going to bring up, honestly, when we were talking about Alan Wake, and I know this sounds like a weird connection, but the thing I don't like about Alan Wake's portions in Alan Wake 2 is I don't like puzzles that require this like binary thing where you have to like
This
flip
or
back
that.
and forth. Yeah, this or that. I don't know what it is with my brain that I cannot, that I just, my brain cannot process how that works for some reason, which is the stupidest thing because it's just this or that, right? But it's the same way with Ikaruga, because if you're not familiar with Ikaruga, it is a shmup where you can flip your character to either a white or a black ship, and if it's a certain color, it can absorb the bullets of that color, or if it's the other, you get damage. And I don't know why my brain cannot remember which one absorbs and which one.
Well, I think it's the fact that it's a binary shmup that is also a bullet hell.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's, very requires a lot of memorization. I saw somebody play that game with 2 joysticks, one in their right hand, one in their left hand, and they're playing the 2-player mode and flipping as I just
dude.
It
there's some people
breaks
that can do
my
some
brain.
Insane things with that.
So yeah, Ikaruga is definitely one that CB and I, because he tried to make me sit down and play that one. I was like, nope, I'll watch you. I'm good.
Would Far Cry be a consistent IP that I don't like and you guys do?
Yeah,
I love the Far Cry games.
Yeah.
Now I feel real bad picking you up a copy of Far Cry 5 and you're never gonna play it because I didn't know you hated the series.
I will check it out. Far Cry 5 is the one that looks the most interesting to me.
But it's also
It is
because
really
Zack
interesting.
doesn't like the climb the towers.
Yeah,
Well, that one doesn't have them, right? Or am I crazy?
it does.
It does.
I don't mind climbing towers. I mind the amount of things it puts on the map.
Yeah.
So
Because I like
Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yes, that is a great example of just like
Even I was like, ugh.
because I was gonna say because it doesn't feel like exciting. Like another one of a cave to explore. It's always like Unity is a great example. You went to the top of the tower. It's like there are 60 things in this region to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to play this now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's so.
Did any of you guys like Gods and Monsters? Because I'm not going to call it
Yeah, no, I didn't get a chance to
Is that
play
called
I never
Phoenix
played it.
something?
Immortals Phoenix
Oh,
Rising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never got to play it.
Gods and Monsters. Let's get
I
it
didn't.
right.
I started it and I thought they did the really cool thing where at the top of the tower and you can actually like search the horizon for points of interest instead of them just going boop, 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 and popping up like they do in
enjoyed that
Assassin's
game
Creed.
a lot.
That's one I would love to go back and finish because I hear that game is like great storytelling too.
It is. It's baby's first Assassin's Creed.
I will say, Alyssa, I enjoy hearing
Mhm.
you talk about them, but I don't like
Yeah, I was gonna say
visual novels.
Yeah.
The one exception is Doki Doki Literature Club.
I still have yet to play that one.
God, it's so good.
I know. I need to get on.
You have
it.
a Switch, right?
I actually have the physical copy of it.
Okay, just
there's no reason for me not to have played it
yes, you
already.
need to play it.
Yeah, that's. But I mean,
It could just be it's one of those things maybe where you just hear about how great it is, so it doesn't feel like you need to rush to it.
Yeah, I'm kind of. That's just how I am. Like, I don't know. I guess when there's a lot of people telling me how great something is, that makes me not want to play it at that time or watch it or whatever. That's like, I don't know. I feel
Like,
pressured, and then I don't want to do it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't play Undertale for years because of that. Then I
I
finally
still
played it,
haven't
I was
played
like,
Undertale, but I feel like I would love it.
Hot.
It's pretty great.
Here's a hot take for you. I hate Metal Gear 5.
I didn't.
I didn't play it, but I didn't like Ground Zeroes,
Well,
and that's why I never
God,
played.
I love Ground Zero.
I didn't.
So good.
Anything post Metal Gear.
Oh
You don't like Metal Gear Solid?
Well,
Do it.
no, he's Sons of Liberty. I think is what he was referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't like Metal Gear Solid 3?
Snake Eater.
tried it. I didn't care for it.
I didn't finish it. I finished 1 and 2, and
It's really good.
I loved 1.
I've had my eye on the collection because there's actually like a buy 2 get 1 free thing on Amazon right now, including the collection. But then again, it's a physical. I just don't like having to resell my games.
You don't have to.
I'm just gonna wait for a sale. I don't have time to play Metal Gear right now.
Let alone 3 of them.
Yeah.
I guess 5 of
Yeah.
them that are in the package.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really. I'm trying to think of any that happened during the course of this podcast.
Yeah.
Where like one of us just came in and was like, "Dude, I love this game," and everyone else was like, "What are you talking about?"
There's
I
always
can't
at
think
least
of
2
any like
people
that.
that agree. There's never been like
Yeah.
a game where
Yeah.
Well, see, the problem
we
is-
don't all play the games either.
There's so many of those games that like one of us has played that none of the rest of us have played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
who here has played Alien Isolation?
Yeah, well, that was also before the show. It
No,
Was before?
was before we were.
Did
on.
you
Was
re-
that 20?
Did you
I-
review that for the show?
I came in as a guest to talk about it.
That's before my time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right, I believe it's my turn. Maurice Chiano says, what are your thoughts on the mass layoffs in 2023 in game development, and what do you suspect is driving them? Outside of corporate greed?
Yeah, I was gonna say
No,
it's just
I wouldn't even say corporate greed. I'd say corporate stupidity.
yeah. I don't understand it. I don't know why you wouldn't want to retain your talent in this time when the industry is doing better than it ever has.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I'm not a CEO. I guess I don't have the logic figured out. Other than it saves you money during pre-production, but then you risk the game not being as good the next time.
Right.
See, I have to go with corporate stupidity because there's so many of these where we've seen, oh, well, the game didn't meet the numbers we wanted. I'm like, did it turn a profit? Yes. Then shut up.
I think it has more to do with that they get something that is successful, and they want it to continue being successful, either that specific one, and they want it to have longer legs than games have, or they want the next one, they want the next one to be even better. And sequels that doesn't always happen. This isn't the movie industry. You know what I mean? It's a completely different industry, and I think that when something is successful, they assume that it's going to continue to be that successful. So they start dumping way too many resources into it, expecting bigger returns. And when it doesn't happen, then they pull back. And those that got these great jobs are the ones that are affected, not the ones that made those decisions. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
does.
I hear you. I mean, just I can't figure out what's driving.
Like I said,
Especially like you said, with how much money the industry is making.
like I said, it can't just be corporate greed. It's more along the lines of stupidity and the people who are running these companies being so far removed from the people that are actually playing the games. They're like, we think this is what people like.
Well, I mean, to counter that point, I mean, yes, is there stupidity involved? For sure. But the greed comes into play when the ones that made those decisions aren't the ones suffering because of their stupidity.
But if it was just
They
greed,
could very
they'd be
easily.
like, pump out another one right now. We need to keep going. It can't just be greed. It legitimately has to be stupidity.
If that were the case, then those people would still have jobs.
Not necessarily. You try to keep making more games with less.
Well, then you get into crunch culture, and then you got
That's what I'm
Jason
saying.
Schreier writing another book.
It falls more in the camp of stupidity and the people that are Bobby. What's his name from?
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
When was the last time you think he actually played a video game?
Well, I assume never.
Yeah.
So again,
whatever.
I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Being too far removed from the people that are buying your product to understand.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of the definition of a suit, right?
Yeah. Like the people that are running these companies are not gamers. So why do we expect them to make decisions for gamers?
Well, I expect them to make good business decisions.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of this falls down to stupidity or just plain ignorance.
Yeah, well, I guess there's also just I know it's a buzzword right now, but the late stage capitalism of you need to make more money every quarter, and how sustainable is that?
Right. Especially when the economy doesn't always agree with that.
Okay, here's a thought for you. Maybe these layoffs are kind of a good thing for the industry. Maybe we need to scale back some instead of making these giant $250 million budgeted games. Let's get back to storytelling and legitimate good gameplay.
Or 40 games coming out every week.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean it sucks for the people that it's happening to, but maybe the industry does need to scale back before we wind up having another huge crash of the market.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Let's move on. CB?
Kevin Honigford, I hate you for asking this question. Cats or dogs, only one and why? So I'm going to completely skirt the question and say, you know what? Scorpions.
Scorpions are cool. Yeah.
I love
All right.
I love my cats.
You just say cats. Cats for me.
I like your dog a lot better since he stopped barking.
I love my dog. I love my dog I had for him. I miss that damn dog.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, my cat Herc is probably the best cat you could ever ask for. He's a giant stupid ball of orange.
I'm also going to say cats. I like dogs, but I don't like owning dogs. They're in my opinion messier. I like them, I don't like dislike them, but cats.
I don't even think it's an opinion, right? Dogs are messier. It's just whether or not you're okay with it.
I'm not.
Dogs poop outside. Cats poop in boxes.
Yeah, but the dog, but then the dog tracks in mud and gets rained on. All sorts of stuff happens out there.
Dude, wet dog smell is just the worst.
Terrible. Yeah, I like dogs just fine, but it's hard for. They love you no matter what you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to be into that, I guess. If a cat snuggles on you and loves you, you really feel like you earned their trust and their respect and their love. Whereas a dog just loves you as soon as they meet you, and that just, I don't know. It doesn't make me feel loved. It has the adverse effect on me.
I will introduce you to my cat Herc.
Yeah.
That cat legitimately hates no one, and he thinks he is a dog.
But you know that's the exception rather than the rule.
Right.
I've had multiple cats like that, surprisingly.
Well, maybe you just have maybe they love your energy, man. Maybe you're just a really, jovial fellow.
I tried it.
Whereas a dog, you really could drop kick a dog and then they would still cuddle you 1 second later.
Herc is a pretty cool cat. That cat loves to play with Q-tips. I've sat and watched him play with the Q-tip for 20 minutes.
Oh, dude, he'll bite him and just walk around the house and sticking out both sides.
Dude, my dog also loves Q-tips. But he'll just pick it up and just hold it in his mouth, not chew it or anything.
Like it's a toothpick.
Yeah, and then just drop it when he's done.
Like a cowboy.
Yeah. It's really weird.
Alyssa?
Well, obviously cats for me, and can I talk about my cat a little bit? I don't have her.
Sure.
I might cry.
Damn.
If I cry, forgive me.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, I feel like she was like the little furry love of my life. Like, she was the perfect cat for me because she was basically me in cat form. Adopted her when she was a year old from the shelter, and it was obvious she had been abused.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was afraid of hands. Like, if she saw a hand, she would freak out. Fly swatters, all that kind of stuff. And I was the first person she even interacted with after a week. She came over to me and rubbed her head against me.
Aw.
And we were close after that. Like, she was not a cuddly cat, not affectionate.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, if she was affectionate, it was going to be on her terms. So when you finally got the head bonk, or if she came and licked you or gave you a love nip on the ankle, it really meant a lot. Or if she even sat in close proximity to you, that meant she liked you. And she didn't do that to a lot of people. She didn't trust a lot of people. But when she really loved you, she loved you. She was perfect. I mean, she didn't play, which was a godsend for me, honestly, because I'm not good with playful animals. She was very calm. She did not jump on anything besides furniture. She did like to scratch the carpet, but that was preferable to the furniture. So she was great in that way. Didn't have to get her off the tables or counters or anything. She was just the best. Like, she loved when I sang to her. She loved when I baby talked her. Like, I would talk to her about everything, like stuff I couldn't talk to people about because I was too scared to, and she would just sit and listen. She was my girl, and I lost her too soon, and I'm still grieving her because she really meant the world to me. She helped me through a lot of tough times.
That's super sweet. I'm definitely a cat person myself. There's something about a warm cat sitting on your lap while you're playing a video game that just is like the greatest feeling in the world.
She never sat on anyone's lap.
No?
In her entire life. No. She would jump and stay there for a second, then jump back down.
Huh.
That was as lucky as you got with Sookie, but it still meant a lot, like, when she did that.
Nice.
She was checking in, making sure the lap was available.
Yeah.
Is this
she was
taken?
not an affectionate cat, but I loved her anyway. Like, didn't matter to me. She wasn't affectionate.
Like, is this seat taken? Oh, it's not? Okay, cool. I still don't
No,
care.
she did love to steal your seat. Like,
yeah.
If you had to get up to go to the bathroom or something, you come back, she's in the seat. That was her seat then.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, I'll just relocate. I never made her move.
4 for 4 on cats.
Yeah. All right, Alyssa, can you read the next one for us?
I can. J. Henry writes, I just found out that Metal Gear Delta is running on the Unreal 5 game engine. This series is beloved to me, but what would it take to have Hideo Kojima and Konami back working together again? It kind of hurts to see his games not running on his amazing and beautiful Fox engine. Unreal 5 and Metal Gear just isn't the same without Kojima.
I mean, that's not going to happen. I
I feel like the bridges have been burned.
No, it could. It just wouldn't be called Konami anymore. It would be called Kojima.
Well, I think they unblocked each other on social media, so progress is being made.
Like, true.
But also, I mean, Kojima doesn't even use a Fox engine anymore, right? Death Stranding is running on Decima.
Mm-hmm.
So I think your Fox engine dream is dead either way, Jay. Unfortunately, but this is why I think it's perfect what they're doing, because the Metal Gear Delta footage did look weird because it almost looks too clean.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. But Konami's doing it right because they also re-released Metal Gear Solid 3, so you have it both ways. You can play the original in all of its beauty and the new game.
Yeah.
I just think it's hard to replicate that hazy kind of atmosphere of a PS2 game, and this was true of the GTA Definitive Editions as well. Like, it's hard to make those happen because of the technical limitations. So you almost have to try to like reprogram in those limitations, and that just seems like a lot of that seems like it'd be quite a hurdle to figure out.
Who knows if that'll? I don't see it happening. Like, sure, they unblocked each other on social media. So did
I still can't imagine a Metal Gear game without Kojima.
Yeah,
it's difficult, but also think Kojima wanted to be done with Metal Gear for years. So like he's finally free.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way he's making another Metal Gear. He might come back for Silent Hill maybe.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
But there's no way he's done with it.
Only if Norman Reedus is there.
Yes, his boy.
Norman Reedus is Solid Snake.
Oh no,
that's what it would be. That there's how they realign.
I can't imagine that his voice is Solid Snake.
No, me either.
It's Oscar Isaac, right? He's attached, or am I mistaken?
I think so.
I could see that actually.
I thought he was
Oscar
Solid Snake for.
Yeah, I could see him.
No one's gonna be able to do you got to give up the voice.
Yeah,
it's just not gonna happen no matter who.
Yeah.
Plays.
Yep, not gonna happen. All right, last question comes from Sean Fuller. He says, "What TV shows do you want to see get the Telltale treatment? I've never seen The Expanse, but I liked how they did the short episodes in 2-week stagger. It was easily digestible and never lost my interest. I could see Silo being a really fun adaptation." I kind of missed the Game of Thrones. I actually liked the Game of Thrones ones, and I thought the direction they were
still
going
mad
with
they
that.
never made the second season.
Yeah.
I know. I actually did enjoy the Game of Thrones Telltale game.
I did too. I would love to see like them take, I don't know which one, but I would love to see them try a sitcom. Not
House.
like House would be a
Dude, he's
good...
right. You're right. Well, House isn't a sitcom.
Yeah, but House would be awesome for that.
No,
It would, but it's kind of like where you're going with, like, because of all the shenanigans you get into in a sitcom.
right. And we know that the humor can work because we've seen what they did with the Telltale Borderlands game. I would love to see them try to tackle comedy, like maybe even like just like a whole fresh, like don't do it like on Friends or Seinfeld or something like that. Like just have like a whole new sitcom of characters. That would be kind of fun to do.
It's Always Sunny. I'm sure those guys are down for that.
That's actually probably, I've not watched that show, but just the clips I've seen, I could see the tone working.
Yeah, it's a right cartoonish atmosphere.
Yeah.
See, the only reason for me, like, House works perfectly for that formula is you have your main story, you have your lackeys that can go to whatever house, apartment, or whatever, look for clues to find out what's going on with the person,
Mm-hmm.
and then reconvene back, and then have your little plot twist.
Well, and then you also can just have like the outside drama too, like the personal drama.
Yeah, like I think House would have been perfect for that, or like any type of like emergency room, like medical drama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and you could also get the case wrong because it's Telltale.
Yeah,
You could finally diagnose lupus, even though it's not lupus.
it happened
It's
one
never
time.
lupus.
My mom has
Yeah.
lupus.
Well, she should go on House. They'll figure it out.
She's already figured it out.
No, well, that's because you didn't have Dr. House in the case. He would find out,
Oh.
like, no, it looks like lupus, but it's actually blah, blah, blah. It's actually a rare Brazilian disease that only...
Actually, you know what would be awesome for Telltale to do? Westworld.
Oh yeah, that would have been
Yeah,
good.
that'd be cool. Yeah.
Westworld, or any one of the like alternate parts of the park.
Shogun World or whatever.
Oh no, because it just would have got canceled and then removed from the service completely.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Alyssa, how about you?
Had to Firefly.
Oh,
Give you like
good.
missions from the TV show between episodes, like missions that were never done before.
And then just get one season.
Yeah. And then Doctor Who would be actually really great because there's so much you could do with that show.
Yeah.
Like there's so many different enemies, different locations. You could have different doctors, different companions, which I don't think they call them companions anymore. They just call them friends. But I still call them companions.
Sounds better.
Yeah. There's just so much they could do with Doctor Who.
All right, Zach.
I mean, that's a really good one. TV shows. The first thing was The Boys, but only if they allow you to get as depraved as Homelander.
Ugh.
Like just let you be truly vile.
Oh man, I thought Joffrey was a despicable character, and then Homelander came around.
You know what's fun about Homelander is he's also more childish than Joffrey.
That's true.
Right? Yeah.
But that was the first thing that came to mind, just because it would be interesting to watch them try to push that envelope, because the show sure does push the envelope.
Yeah, the opening first episode of the third season. Wow, they really went there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, that is all the questions we had. Thank you to everybody who contributed. That was a lot of fun. Next week's topic, we're going to go and talk about puzzles in video games, whether it be puzzle games or puzzles that are actually buried within another game. Talk about whether we like them and what some of our favorites are. So stay tuned to social media for that one.
Puzzles the bar.
No, not Puzzles the Bar. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thanks so much for listening. This episode is produced by Kevin Honigford, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. His website is stemmagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Alyssa, any parting words or recommendations for our listeners?
Well, there's an album I've really been liking. It's by an artist called Jungkook. He was a member of the K-pop group BTS before they had to, what's the word? Some of them had to go to military service. Anyway, he released his first solo album. It's all in English, and the songs are great. It is still pop, but they're really centered around love and heartbreak, mostly. And there's a couple that are on the radio right now that are more, club tunes, I guess, dance tunes. But my favorite song on there is called Shot Glass of Tears. It's really good. Highly recommend listening to at least that song.
Nice.
But it's a good album.
CB, how about you?
Invincible is back.
I still got to watch that.
3 years later.
I know. I just watched the first episode of season 2 yesterday, and I need to really buy the actual graphic novel. But
Well, yeah, I mean, the comic is great.
yeah, but I haven't read the graphic novel, so like I'm watching it through the TV series, and the TV series has been stellar so far. I need more, and I don't like this waiting week to week.
Right. Well, then, and then when you get to the end of the season, you just have to wait another 3
I
years.
know it's so
crazy.
dumb.
So great.
Let's see. Zach, how about you?
I guess it's a couple weeks old, but I saw Killers of the Flower Moon.
I heard good
I
things
definitely
about
want to see
that.
that, yeah.
Exceptional. It's absolutely one of the best movies of the year, easily. Just truly a Scorsese masterpiece, I would say. Just on every level, the acting, the performances. It just, I obviously everyone's worried about the length, but you do not feel it.
Nice.
You are engrossed in the story.
I've heard Lily Gladstone's amazing in it.
She's great. She's great. De Niro, of course, is great. DiCaprio, when does he ever miss? But yeah, Lily Gladstone's good. I haven't seen her in anything else, I don't think. But
I don't think I have either.
I heard it's entirely too long.
I just addressed it,
Yeah,
Scott.
he did.
But I guess you would have had to pay attention.
No. I heard it from the Hollywood Outsider podcast as well. That it's just that I'm reiterating what you're saying. Sorry, I was looking.
Yeah,
I was looking at my.
I was say Aaron and I had a conversation about it. We just can't agree. But I do not think it is too long.
Oh,
I think it perfectly works. I think it is engrossing the entire time. You do not feel the 3.5 hours.
You felt that way about Oppenheimer, though, too.
Yeah. Did you not?
I was looking at my watch.
What is so important in everybody's life that they've got to be constantly worried about how long a movie is?
I actually think Oppenheimer was perfectly paced.
I still have to watch it.
It's phenomenal.
My apologies, Zach. I was looking up my thing that I was going to share, and I missed you just saying that. So
Well, what is it, Scott? You're dying to tell us.
Well, I was gonna give a hot take. I finished my rewatch of Game of Thrones, and I still like the last season. I know
What?
everyone's gonna tell me that.
Back to that question from earlier. You're dead wrong, dude. What are you talking about?
I still really like it. The only issue I have
God.
is that last episode. There's just so much long walks, to lead up to a confrontation. But I still really like the story. That man, that episode where they fight the White Walkers at Winterfell. Man, that whole episode is just
Dude,
so
I love
good.
that part where Jaime Lannister, who famously threw all of his honor away for the innocent, said, I never cared about the innocents anyway.
I mean,
That was cool.
anyway, that was my hot take. But the other thing is since I finished Words of Radiance audiobook, I decided to start a new audiobook, and I picked up Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, who was the
I've
writer.
heard of it.
It's funny that you did that because I actually just downloaded that yesterday.
Did you? That's a really weird coincidence. It's a guy that wrote The Martian, if you remember the book that was made into a movie starring Matt Damon.
Right, best comedy, right? Best comedy of the year.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was given Best Comedy?
Yeah, because they couldn't put in the drama section for some reason.
Oh.
Because he blew himself up and he grew potatoes with poo.
Yes. Hilarious.
I actually read The Martian before watching the movie, and I thought the movie actually did a really good job of capturing Andy Weir's writing in terms of kind of the humorist lightheartedness of it, and that continues to carry over in Project Hail Mary, which is sci-fi again, but in this case, it has very much similarities to The Martian because you've got another astronaut that has to save the universe, but different reason. And also, what makes this one interesting is that it's told from the perspective of the main character, much like The Martian, but he doesn't know who he is. So he just wakes up and slowly has to learn that he has got to save the world or save the universe. And he understands what he has to do, but he doesn't know who he is. And the way that they reveal who he is back on Earth before everything happened is, I think, done in a really clever fashion. I feel like this one could be made into a film as well, and I hope it does.
He's a JRPG protagonist.
Yeah, pretty much. It's got like amnesia kind of thing, but his writing to me is just very, very accessible. Like there's a lot of science and stuff going on, but at the same time, he's so relatable as a character because he just thinks and talks like, not like a stiff scientist or super smart person. He's just a normal dude, and I'm really, really enjoying. I'm very early on. But I'm really glad I picked this one. So Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. All right. Well, CB, Zach, and Alyssa, thank you so much for joining me. As always, it was a lot of fun. Looking forward to next week already. So I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson, Chris Behrensmeyer, and Alyssa White, and we are the Gaming Outsider. Remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just game.